best win of the year by far last night in the Big Apple. Your San Diego Padres pull one out real good against the New York Yankees, and holy smokes, they kept me up last night. I was so fired up. We got all of it for you, all of it. I love to come in the morning and recap a game like that. It makes getting out of bed worthwhile. It's usually worthwhile getting out of bed to come in and talk to the Tier 1s every day, but a little extra juice this morning for sure. Welcome in, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paul.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Benjamin, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, and a special shout out and welcome to the Tier 1s who were at the game last night. I see Rosita Rose 619 in the chat. Sitting in the rain was well worth it. So many SD fans here in NY. Saw our beloved Ryan Cohen at the game.
Yep.
My competition, Jake Garignani from
It's Jake
Garignani.
That's what we learned when he was Garignani.
Whatever. It's fine. I don't need to know.
He was sitting with Ryan Cohen.
I saw that.
That guy makes the scene. Out in New York. Fantastic.
Obviously, the way the game finished up changes things.
Yes.
But I watched the whole game.
Of course.
And in the earlier parts, amidst 3 rain delays,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, man, can you imagine if you planned a trip out there?
Been so
from
bummed.
San Diego.
I thought the same thing.
And you're hiding in the concourse from the rain. I wouldn't have stayed. I don't think I probably would have gone back to the hotel room. I think.
Yeah.
And-
Soaking wet.
But
man.
then when the events unfolded the way they did and the Padres got the win, I go, I can't think of anything that would have been more fun than sitting in that rainstorm and just cheering your ass off.
Technically, it was only 2 rain delays, although it should have been probably 4 rain delays during the game, and they just refused to stop it. At a few points, I was going, this is ridiculous that they're still out there. And don't give me the 5 inning. Oh, it's an official game. Yankees win 2-0. Let's all just get out of here. I'm glad least they let it play out all the way to the end. I thought that was at least fair to the San Diego Padres. And in the end, as you said, Woods, turned from a really kind of yucky, gross game into the best win of the season so far.
Yep. And you see it a lot on social media. These guys don't want to play today. They don't want to play today. They're flat. These guys are flat. They don't care. I'm telling you, we have to omit those thoughts from our vocabulary and from our brain. In the course of 162 rain delay, travel, all of that, you got to get it out of your head. And I think these guys have proven to us night after night, they want to play. They want to win. Sometimes you get beat. Sometimes a guy has got you flummoxed. Fernando Tatis Jr. last night looked like a little leaguer at the dish against Carlos Rodon. He did. He looked like a little leaguer that had first day in kid pitch. It happens. I never think with this team that it's from a lack of effort or a lack of desire or a lack of want to. You're going to have crap games. You just are. We got to get rid of this. These guys don't care. They don't want to be there. They'd rather be anywhere else. I don't buy it. I don't see it ever.
I'm more guilty as a fan of sometimes throwing in the towel and giving up on a game. Like last night I was thinking just get to the end of this one, wipe it, flush it, let's move on. They'll get them tomorrow with Michael King on the mound. I had that thought a couple of times. Of
course.
And I wasn't sitting in the wet rain, miserable in New York. I was warm and dry and at work and at home, and I still thought, just flush this one.
Yeah,
but they don't do that. And I knew in the back of my head, I even thought, that's not how they're treating it, though. That's not how Mike Shildt's team, they're trying to find a way to come back and win this game.
No question. And I think they've proven that to us over and over and over. And it's not just this sample size of this year. It's last year as well. Does anybody for a second think they didn't want to win that game against Yamamoto? They didn't score any runs, Woodsy. They must not have cared. Baseball doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Those 24 innings, they didn't score. It's not because they didn't care. It's not because they weren't trying. It's because this game sucks, and it's beautiful, and that's why we like it. And last night was a perfect example of how much this game sucks and why it's also the most beautiful game to ever be created. Period. The end. There's nothing like this game. Nothing. And games like that, I'm telling you, it was fun while it lasted. It was amazing. My heart was racing. I was screaming. My kids, oh my God, Taylor, Well, stop screaming. I can hear you all the way in here. I'm like, Taylor, you're only in the next room. Of course you can hear me. I mean, I was as fired up as I have ever been for a regular season win in May, early May.
I was standing while watching, which usually is more of a playoff technique that I can't sit down. But as the game got on there in the 8th inning, I started standing while watching.
I got to give props to our buddy Travis Devlin, who I'm in a group chat with him and Chris Foster, old hillbilly. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, actually. We talk a lot of Little League baseball in there. And
just kidding, Travis.
And then, but Trav writes, he goes, I have a feeling we're winning this game. It was 4-0 when he said it, or 3-0 when he said it. He goes, I have a feeling we're winning this game. It was like Nostradamus. But I when I saw Devin Williams come in, I said, okay, we got a shot because this guy's been terrible. I mean, he has been terrible. And he gave up. After yesterday, Benny, he's got 13 runs given up since the beginning of the season, which is the exact number of runs he gave up in 23 and 24 combined. Combined 2 seasons, did not give up 13 runs. That's bananas. Talked to my old man this morning driving in. He goes, yep. He goes, I get the feeling he just doesn't like New York. And I go, The changeup looked pretty good. I mean, he looked pretty good. The old airbender, he's throwing it in the rain, but he's blown so many games from that. He lost his closer spot. Definitely lost his setup man spot after last night, I would imagine. Just been a rough start for him. But the Padres saw blood in the water, and they capitalized, and it was amazing. It was an amazing, amazing win.
Obviously, we will get into all of it. The highlights from Jesse and Tony. If you didn't hear that side of it, the excitement of the comeback, the ejections and arguments and the ump show with Adrian Johnson. We've got plenty of time to get to today to talk about all of it, but I'm also interested in what happened with your DoorDash driver last night.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gear switch. I get it, because we've got 4 hours, 3 hours to talk about it, basically, because we got Jim Lampley coming in. We're going to talk some shop with him later on in the program. We're excited about that, by the way, at 9. Jim Lampley, legendary voice, coming in and gonna chop it up with him. He's got a new book out, so we said, yeah, come on in, we'll talk about it. So it gives us a little bit less time to talk Padres, but again, trust me, you're gonna get your Padres fill here on Ben and Woods, as you always do. So in that thing last night, I got home yesterday, went to the grocery store, bought some groceries, and I thought, I think I'll make rigatoni tonight. Little turkey meat sauce, get some protein, just a little bit of pasta for some carbs. Not the best carbs you can have, but whatever, no big deal. Just a few little pieces of rigatoni, and I'll just pile it up. And the kids like it. We'll do that. Pick up Bo from school. I go, what'd you have for lunch today? He goes, oh, rigatoni. I go, oh, all right. Well, I guess I'll wait on that till tomorrow. What would you like? He goes, I want urban plates. And I said, okay. Been promising him urban plates, or urban plates, as he calls it. So I order urban plates. Get him the chicken tenders meal that he likes. I get the chimichurri steak that I like. And Hannah gets the salad she likes. Well, I'm sitting there waiting for a DoorDash. And I get a, you know how they send you a message sometimes on your DoorDash thing? He says, sir, your order is not ready yet. I'm waiting in the store for your information. I wanted to inform you, sir. Separate message. And I said, thanks. And he said to me after this, Paulie, get this.
So you're doing your job.
Yeah. So you're
as a delivery driver waiting for the order to be ready.
So that you can deliver it.
I've always assumed that was, I've never driven DoorDash or Uber Eats before, but I have always assumed that was
part of the gig.
Part of the gig. You go and you wait for the order to be ready, and then you pick it up, and then I'm assuming you put it in your car.
Well,
and then you drive it to the person who ordered it.
Imagine you have a guy painting your house, and he texts you in the middle of the day, hey, sir, I'm painting your house. I know. That's exactly why I asked you to come over and do this. Just want to let you know, just still painting. All right. Sounds good. Like, it's the same thing. Plumber, hey, man, I'm working on your toilet. I would hope that you are. I hope you're not laying in my bed.
It'd be weird if, like, anything else would have been weird.
Yeah.
That is okay.
Anyway,
sir, I just bowled a 200.
All right.
Huh?
So he just let me know, which I do appreciate. I do appreciate the hey man, it's not quite ready. I'm waiting for it. Okay, great.
Might be a little late.
At that point, I have no problem. If the thing stops there, I'm good. I'm good. So then he says, 1 minute later, I would be very happy if you increase my type, sir. Prayer hands, blushing face. And obviously he means tip.
Right.
So let's take the misspelling out of it because that's fine. I would be very happy if you increase my tip, sir.
I'm sure you would.
I thought the ball's on this guy. like you're very brazen, aren't you? And here's the thing. This guy doesn't know who he's talking to because I'm a good tipper. I'm a really good tipper. And so I thought to myself, all right, Woodsy, what can you... I almost wrote back, yeah, you get my food here and we'll talk. But then all I thought was him sprinkling pubes in there or something the whole time. Or he's like, yeah, okay, what are you, a chimichurri steak? So I just didn't respond.
I'm going to text Adam right now. Sir, I am doing a radio show, sir. I would have very much appreciated if you would double my salary today.
So I just, sir, I didn't say anything. I would be very happy if you increase my tip, sir. All right. So there's a couple schools of thought here. Number one, I used to be in sales. And you don't get something unless you ask for it. So I was kind of impressed that he asked for the
go-getter.
He's a go-getter.
Okay.
So that was kind of my second thought. My first thought was, the stones on this guy. Was he out of his mind? So then I said, all right, it got there. I grabbed it. It was all stapled together, thank God. And then I increased his tip by $2. So I did actually increase his tip and gave it back to him. But I just thought, man, that is a brazen act.
I can see from his perspective. If I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm doing this, I don't want to be blamed if I'm 5 minutes late. I was actually early, ready to pick up the food.
But there's no late in DoorDash. There's no late. There's no late.
True.
There's really no late. It's not like, wait, we're going to give you this on the house if, it's not Domino's Pizza from 1990.
Right. But I mean, maybe he has his own standards. Like, hey, this shouldn't take this long. I should be there with his food.
These guys are killing me.
He's probably waiting for it. I want him to know that, hey, I'm doing my job. I'm here waiting for the food. The restaurant hasn't quite gotten it done yet, so I'm going to let you know. I will get it to you as soon as possible. Maybe there was a bit of a language barrier in terms of how that exchange went. You could have done it in a smoother manner, perhaps. Yeah. Like, hey, man, sorry, the restaurant's taking a little bit longer, but I'll get you your food as soon as possible.
Sure.
End of story. And then you come and deliver it, and then hopefully, cross your fingers, you get a little extra tip for it. You can let him know you were waiting without directly telling you he was waiting.
Yeah, the one that gets me, and maybe irrationally upset, maybe not, is you're tracking them on the map, and then they turn left.
I know what you're gonna say, dude.
That ain't the direction of my house. And they've already picked up your order.
Oh yeah, they got it. It's rotting in your car.
They're also picking up somebody else's order.
Dropping something else off.
I go back and forth because I get it. I want them to make their money. And
get your bag, dude.
If the algorithm on DoorDash's app determines that it's on the way and it's easier, I understand why they are doing that.
Doesn't mean you have to like it.
I can get two birds with one stone. Perfect.
100%.
But I'm sitting here going, well,
why? Where are you going?
You picked up mine first. Yes. Bring it to me first.
I know.
Now I got to wait 20 more minutes.
I know, dude. I know. It's the tracking ability is really, really tough.
Ultimately, I never get that mad though. Maybe internally, but I never get that mad because ultimately it's like, hey, bro, get off your fat ass and go get it then if you really wanted it that quickly.
Well, and Carlsbad Compadre says you guys are missing something. The wait was costing him time for his next delivery. Hey, man, I get it. I absolutely get that part, which is why I did give him an extra tip. The asking for an extra tip that I've already tipped him the max. Like there's a $2.75, $4.75, $6.75. I hit the max. So he got $6.75 out of the gate. This was not a long order. This place is, and it, okay.
Then again, it shouldn't be your responsibility to recompensate the driver because the food took longer and he wasn't going to get to you on time. You're the last person who should be the one who is paying extra to get your food a little bit later.
Yeah. And again, I totally am hip to that he has got more deliveries and stuff to do. This was not, it was in my opinion, it was a premature message. I was under no duress. I ordered it at 4. It was 4:12. Hey, man, I'm waiting for your food. I'm like, bro, I'm fine. I'm good. No problem. No problem at all.
You're like, damn, that was quick.
Yeah, it's quick. Like, I'm okay. I fully expected 4:30 here, so we're in good shape, man. We're still we're still locked and loaded here. But the asking for the extra tip was a little bit. It was a new one for me. But guess what? He ended up getting an extra tip. He got $8.75 instead of $6.75. But I'm telling you, man, my whole life is it's a Curb episode. My entire life is one giant episode of Curb. We were at the airport the other day. And we walk through, we get through security. Well, no, sorry, we don't. We have our boarding passes. It's packed. It is packed. I got 2 kids, my wife. Give them
San Diego or Texas?
This is in Austin. Give him the boarding passes. He scans mine, no problem. Scans Hannah's, no problem. Takes the kids, tries to scan them. They won't scan. The printer ran out of ink.
Oh.
And I did not have them on my phone. So you couldn't scan, the barcode wouldn't scan. There's 5,000 people behind me in line.
You printed off your boarding passes?
They did. We went to check in at the gate. They printed them off, gave it to us. Mine came out fine. Hannah's came out fine. The kids' barcode was smudged. I'm looking at him and I'm going, please, sir. And he goes, I'm going to need you to go back to the desk and get them to print out 2 fresh copies. And I looked at the line. He goes, don't worry.
You do call them little terrorists sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. He said, you don't have to wait in line again. You can go around and come back through. Thank God, right? Get up, get through finally. Then you get through. You're like, all right, the worst is over. Then you look and you have 7 security lines with the belt, right? There's 7 of them. And you quickly assess it and go, all right, there's a mom with a family. That's going to take a while. Ooh, this lady's not moving too well.
I do that. The quick scan and try to determine which line. It's like checking out at Costco, too. Which one's going to go fastest?
Which one's going to go fast?
It's not always the shortest line.
No.
Yeah.
It's who's moving here. And then you have to look at who is running the line. So we made our decision. You couldn't have picked a worse one. Bags started to pile up with this lady. She was the most thorough. Now, I guess I appreciate it. The most thorough TSA agent in history. But I will say this. We waited 40 minutes longer than everyone else in line waiting. Everybody's trying to sneak fastballs by the TSA. She's pulling out Sun Bums. She's pulling out big old waters, orange juices. One guy had a full chicken salad meal in there. She's like, and I'm like, no wonder this thing is taking forever. Everyone's trying to sneak fastballs by the TSA lady. But I'm telling you, Paulie and Ben, Paulie knows every line I pick, the wrong line. Ultimately, the wrong line. Every single time. It's truly a Curb episode. Everything that happens.
You called it out last time.
I did. I said, watch this.
You're like, watch what happens.
Watch what happens.
We were in the parking lot of Vaughn's or Safeway.
Walking in.
And you're like, just wait.
You've never been in the grocery store with me. Wait till you see what unfolds. He's like, come on. I thought I had $1 off this shrimp. Do I not? This coupon says it's $1 off shrimp. And I'm like, here's $1. Take $1. Let's get this thing moving.
We pulled our stuff off the conveyor belt.
Went to another one.
It was even worse.
My whole life is Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Guy's like going through his wallet, searching through the coupons that he clipped out. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, through his wallet.
Oh my God.
I know I have it in here somewhere. It's incredible.
Remember, I pulled out a $20 bill. I was like, I'll just give it to him. I don't care. I just want to go home.
Take it.
Well, I know everybody is waiting to talk more Padres baseball. So good news. We will get to that. We're here.
You.
I'm ready to pick up your Padres baseball at the restaurant.
Yes.
If you'd like to increase our tip in the YouTube stream,
go
sir,
hit like.
You can do that right now, and we will bring you Padres baseball as soon as it's ready. I'm waiting for it, and I will bring it to you shortly here on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place. Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats.
We're cracking up in here over the we got a lot to get to, but we're cracking up in here over the Gavin Sheets moment from last night, which had they not won the game,
it was infuriating.
It was infuriating. I would have. I'm telling you guys, I would have come in here this morning and done the Luis Campusano does not belong on a major league roster. And listen, he still may not. I'm not. After careful reflection,
you just unplugged my entire thing by slamming the table.
Good. That's kind of was my goal. I would have said he doesn't belong on a major league roster this morning, and then he still might not. But had we not won that game,
yeah.
Oh my gosh! Now you can look back at that play with Gavin Sheets and go, "Oh yeah, I've been there before." Are you off? Yeah. Oh well, he's freaking out. He's mad.
That's all right. I just don't know how to fix it, so I will not be on the YouTube stream.
Good.
Anymore.
Nobody wants to see you anyway. We all talked about the wave, the fake wave. Yeah. Come on. No, and then the quick kind of turn away.
It really was on Sheets. It was a little bit of bad luck. That the ball did squirt.
It's a lot of bad luck.
The ball did squirt through the catcher's legs, and the read was probably, yes, go in that situation, and then it hit the umpire and came right back to the catcher's feet.
I think and listen, you can't blame the guy at home plate. You can't. It's ultimately always the runner's decision, right? Always ultimately his decision at the end. He's got to make that final call. That said, you look up, you see the ball getting through, you see your buddy waving you, and then the old half-hearted, never mind, and then the turn away, like, wasn't me. It was incredible. Now, had we lost that game, I would have been livid about all of it today. We would have been breaking that thing down like the Zapruder film, but it was not the case. The Padres win the game. No harm, no foul. Definitely a teaching moment for Shildt and Sheets and Campy and Leaper and everybody else involved.
That one in particular, because you set up the situation with your pinch hitter, with the tying run at the plate. You'd been battling just to get an opportunity all game, and then to, on your own volition, take that opportunity away. And then Sheets couldn't even stay in to pinch hit because Campy had to come in and catch, or Maldonado had to come in and catch. So his day ended with the little wave.
and the turn away
started and ended with the little wave and turn around.
The turn away at the end, like he slinked away, he slunk away after he did that. I've done it. I've done the send for my adult league team. I've done the send for my little league team and changed my mind. It is an empty, awful feeling. But you know what's not an empty, awful feeling is what happened last night in the 8th inning for the San Diego Padres. It was an absolutely electric win. Our skipper has pretty much ingratiated himself to the entire city of San Diego, I would say, after that moment last night. And I can't wait to break all that down.
I'm so mad we don't have him on this Friday.
I'm furious we don't have him on.
I mean, we can make the request and see if he'd be willing to move it up, just because it was such an iconic game and moment.
It was iconic. Iconic.
It was. It really was. A signature Shildt moment.
You always say and you hear like, oh, he's going to try to get the guys fired up.
Yeah.
And it works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, our buddy Mike last night said, look, this is most of the time this happens, this is just eyewash. I mean, you look across the field at the other dugout, that dude does this 3 times a week. And I think after a while, you're like, it probably loses its luster. If you play for Aaron Boone, you're like, oh, great. Boone's out there yelling at the umpires again. BFD. Hey, we're getting beat by the slider, buddy. There's nothing you can do that's going to get us fired up. We know we need to win this game. We're the New York Yankees. Loses a little bit of its luster, I would imagine. But Shildt, he doesn't do that very often. So I do think there's some correlation to what happened last night. Also,
it was textbook. Getting the guys fired up.
It was perfect.
All right, couple items of business before we get to our Padres wrap-up. Guests today, Jesse Agler will join us at 7:35 for the Incorporator, give his take on last night's game from the Big Apple at 7:35. And then, as you mentioned, Woodsy, legendary sports broadcaster Jim Lampley is going to be in studio in our 9 o'clock hour today. Looking forward to that. We also have more Padres tickets to give away to the reversible retro bucket hat game against the Angels next week. We'll get to that as well. All of our regular features, and we have a major announcement that we're going to give you at 8 o'clock this morning.
Major
guest. Yeah.
That's going to be joining us tomorrow on the program. So we will let you know all about that.
Major.
But I know everybody's dying to get through with so many details of that game last night to really parse. So we'll get to our Padres wrap up. All the highlights coming up next. Paulie's going to hopefully fix my camera during the break as we return with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. First, though, Woods and I are going to tell you about trustandwill.com.
I actually have to go in and make an amendment to mine because I have to leave something in there, a little something for Mike Shildt, manager of the San Diego Padres. He needs something. I need to add him, make a little amendment to my trust and will.
Sir, and your DoorDasher.
Sir, my DoorDash driver. If you could just include me
in your trust
and will, that would be appreciated for the time that I spent waiting for your order.
We joke, we make light of it. It's certainly not if you're going through it right now, again, I just keep being reminded of our one of our favorite tier ones, Dominic, who's in probate right now. And he just every day writes in, this is the worst. This is the absolute worst. Get that trust to keep your family out of probate court. It's lengthy. It's expensive. It's a major, major hassle after they've already lost a loved one. So That's reason enough to do it right there.
When you sign up, you're going to just answer some easy questions. It only takes like 20, 25 minutes. And then when you check out, use the code FAN. You're going to get 20% off your estate documents and free shipping. Then you've got them. You got that peace of mind. Your family's got the peace of mind that they're taken care of. If anything should happen to you, just go to trustandwill.com to start the process at trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
And Through the Fan is brought to you by Robert Half. At Robert Half, they found that 67% of companies want to increase contract talent. That's why their recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI work quickly to find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. I have some fairly good news from my man on the street. And by man on the street, I mean my buddy Scott, who lives a couple miles south of Yankee Stadium in Manhattan. He said it's looking a little bit better today. There is light rain in the forecast most of the day, but it's supposed to clear up around 6 p.m. Eastern, an hour before game time. So hopefully game 2 of the series won't be the slog that really this entire road trip has been for the Padres. 4 games, 4 rain delays so far for the San Diego Padres. They could use a nice, simple 2.5-hour, well-pitched game by Michael King tonight and hopefully increase their winning streak to 7 in a row.
Well, and you know, we talk about being resilient. You know, this is a really big test of resilience, Ben. There's no question. They talked about it on the broadcast last night. Mudd was talking about it. He goes, man, I'm telling you, they hate it. They hate it. These guys, for 4 games in a row now, essentially have come in. Now, they started one of the Pittsburgh games on time.
Yes.
There's
one game without a rain delay.
3 out of 4 so far on this trip.
But that being said, there's still the possibility that you wake up that morning and you have that dread of like, oh God, are we doing this again? Like, and you're just kind of on edge all day. It really throws you out of your routine and prep. So a real big test of resiliency for our San Diego Padres right now.
All right, we got a ton to break down from last night's come from behind win. All the highlights with Jesse and Tony. They're coming up. Our Padres grab up right after Kelly's check of traffic.
This grab up is legendary.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's legendary.
Coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.
Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury. Here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by City Cruises. Well, crash is cleared on southbound 15 before the 163, but now getting reports of a stall very close to that. This is right at the 163 split. It's in the HOV lane, so just take it extra carefully there. That's southbound 15 at the 163. Fortunately, we are trouble-free elsewhere around the county. Set sail with Randy Hauser as he lights up the bay for an exclusive concert cruise like no other. Join us on Friday, May 23rd with City Cruises live in San Diego for an epic night of country music, dinner, drinks, and skyline views. Get tickets now at citycruises.com/live. Sounds like fun. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You know what
6
I'm
of
saying?
them.
It's like better than losing.
6.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
Oh, yes.
It's the
Padres wrap up.
Brought to you by Hamul Casino Resort. Things are about to get real with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort with gorgeous rooms and exciting new eats and drinks. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
I want to go fast, but I want to go slow, and I want to go deep. And the first pitch to him hit hard and fair up the first baseline, all the way towards the right field corner. Fernando over to get it. Rice is trying for 2. Tatis's throw coming. Tag from Bogaerts was in time, but it pops out of his glove. Judge coming home. Throw from Bogaerts. The tag. They got him. Judge thrown out at the plate by Xander as the bobble at second ends up getting them an out at home. Ball on his strike. Trent swings, hits it in the air, deep down the right field line. This one way back into the second deck, a home run. 9th of the year for Trent Grisham. And this is a 2-run shot that gives the Yankees a 2-run lead.
Puts him second on the team, only behind Judge.
3-0. Now the pitch. And that's hit in the air to left field straight away, pretty deep. Gonzalez backing up. And in front of the warning track, he'll make the catch. Goldschmidt tagging at third base. He will come in to score. It's a sac fly for Volpe on a 3-0 pitch. And the Yankee lead is now 3-0.
Got the job done.
1-1 to Machado. Weaver ready, and the pitch. Manny swings, rips it into left field. That is down at a base hit. It's going to bounce and roll all the way to the wall. Wade and Lockridge have scored. A rise will be held as the throw comes into Volpe. A 2-run double for Machado, and a 1-run game here in the 8th. 2 on and 2 out for Bogaerts. Tying run 90 feet away. Xander swings, lines one into left field. That's down in front of Bellinger. Arise has scored. Machado's on his way. The throw to the plate is up the line. A 2-run single for Xander, and the Padres lead it for the first time tonight. The 1-2 pitch. Dominguez swings and misses it at changeup, strike 3, and the ball game is over. Robert Suarez again, 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Padres ride a 4-run 8th inning to come from behind in the rain and beat the Yankees 4-3.
Oh man, a lot to unpack. The response was evident on the scoreboard in the 8th, but the response for me is every night with this group. This group loves to compete and play baseball together, and regardless of circumstances, they're going to show up and they're going to pose.
God bless. I am ready to run through a wall. You know what I'm ready to do? I'm ready to throw my paper and my glasses and just come across the table if you make me mad.
It is a good move.
It's a great move.
We will talk in detail about the ejection coming up, but I want to get to some of the details of the game because you forgot so much about that game. Listening to the highlights, like the first inning, Aaron Judge getting thrown out at the plate,
huge play
on the ball that kind of squirted away from Xander for a second, and Xander thought he could try, or Judge thought he could try it, and Xander made a nice throw, great tag by Diaz at home plate to get Judge out, kind of set the tone and offset the out that can't be made at home plate later in the game.
I panicked for a second because Xander did what a lot of baseball players do from Little League on. They give up on the play for a split second, right? That ball squirts away, and you saw him like point to his shoulder, like he got run into, or something. He was about to like call for interference. He stopped to kind of turn to the umpire to say something, and then realized, oh no! Out of the corner of his eye, he sees Judge. Aaron Judge just does a lot of things well, and he runs pretty well for a big man, but that ball did not get far enough away. Xander comes up, makes a not great throw, to be honest, from second base, and again, credit to Elias Diaz, Ben, reaching all the way across, coming back, and getting the tag on Judge. I mean, he was out by 3 feet. It really wasn't close. They challenged it, of course, because why not? But I thought not giving up on a play is such a good lesson, for kids and players of every level. And he eventually did not give up on it, made the throw, got the out. I thought it was a huge one.
Meanwhile, you could pretty much tell from the first batter of the game that Carlos Rodon was locked in.
He has been for a while.
Okay, we're going to be backdooring sliders on the black, and we're going to be keeping it at the knees.
We're going to be getting calls below the zone.
He was sharp, so you kind of felt like the first runs of the game were going to be really important, and it was the Yankees who struck first in the bottom of the 3rd inning. What should have been a solo shot by Trent Grisham. Tip your cap. He's off to a hot start. Really having a nice season so far is Grisham with his 9th of the year. But the batter before him, Yorbit Vivas, the number 9 hitter for the Yankees, hitting 143, works a full count, and then Pivetta comes with a perfect pitch at the knees. Doesn't get the call, which is just infuriating in that situation. And, of course, it turns into the 2-run shot, which – one is, big. 2 felt like, okay, with Rodon throwing the way he was, that felt significant in that moment to me as a Padres fan. Like, that is going to come back perhaps to haunt the team. That extra run that Adrian Johnson, the home plate umpire, basically just gifted the New York Yankees in that inning.
How did they score their 3rd run?
So that was when Pivetta gave up a single on his last pitch of the game.
Yep.
And then Matsui came in, did a nice job, got a pop-up, kept the runner at first, but then Goldschmidt stole second, and the throw got away, and he got to 3rd, and then gave up the 3-0 sac fly to Volpe.
That's right. Okay,
which, you could have argued he should have been a little more careful on that 3-0 pitch. Didn't give him something to sac fly, but it's an unearned run, and I'm not going to blame Matsui.
No, and I don't know that you necessarily assume that Anthony Volpe is going to be up there hacking 3-0. Pretty smart, savvy baseball play, knowing that, hey, man, we're in add-on mode. Here, 3-0 may be the best pitch you see. You don't want to be up there, Ben, 3-1, and he starts dropping that slider in on you. Actually, a pretty heady baseball decision to give him that 3-0 swing, knowing he's going to get a heater down the middle, and he did. And, we're lucky he didn't hit it out of the ballpark, but he did get the sac fly in. And the Yankees are feeling really strong with Devin Williams and Luke Weaver to come in and close it out for him. Did not work out that way for them.
So we talked about the seventh inning rally that was upended by Campy trying to score when Gavin Sheets waved him home.
Yeah.
And you thought maybe at that point,
That's it.
not going to be the Padres' night.
Not our
So
night.
you get to the eighth, and the first out is made by Maldonado to start the inning. So nobody on, one out, Devin Williams, who, yes, has been struggling this year, but also has been one of the best pitchers, relief pitchers in baseball over the last half decade.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Tyler Wade does, really nice job of getting on base with a walk. And then Brandon Lockridge falls behind.
Oh, he looked done.
But somehow manages to broken bat single his way into center field.
When he swung at that pitch that was way outside, and I think he tipped it off the end of the bat, and I'm like, bro, that pitch isn't close. He is done for. Williams, instead of going and keeping away, Ben goes back, goes in. Lockridge gets it on the hands, but fights it over and broken bat knock. And I thought, okay, now we're cooking. Now we are absolutely cooking with those first two guys, with those guys on after one out.
So you've got Tatis up as the tying run, which is the situation you're hoping for as a Padres fan.
I am standing at this point. I'm standing and screaming at the television.
And it was either the 0-1 pitch or the 1-1 pitch drops in a sinker. It's either just below the zone or catches the bottom of the zone. But it's a pitch that had been called a ball for Nick Pivetta all game long. Yep. And Adrian Johnson calls it a strike. And Tatis reacts. He jumps back, I can't believe you called that a strike. But really regains his composure pretty quickly. Adrian Johnson, though, noticed that reaction by Tatis, who then struck out on the next pitch, slider low and away, and then turned to Adrian Johnson, said something I'm sure fairly sharp of criticizing his umpiring, and then immediately turned back toward the dugout and was ejected half-heartedly by Johnson on his way back to the dugout. The first ejection of Fernando Tatis Jr.'s career, which is, pretty remarkable considering.
It really is. And again, we talk a lot, and I know Mike Shildt addressed this in his post-game comments, which I think we'll have for you guys in the next segment. Yep. But he talked about the respect that his team shows to umpires. And as I sat there last night, I thought about it, and I went, yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. The San Diego Padres are not a whiny bunch of guys. They're not. They don't whine a ton. You'll see the head tilt or the funny look back, but you will not see them piss and moan a lot about missed calls. I think they realize you do catch more flies with honey, right? And so he did it the right way, had his head turned, whispered something to the ump, and he got run. And again, I think it's monumental, Ben. You're the guy that threw Fernando Tatis Jr. out for the first time in his career. That says more about him about you than it does about him.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Of course, Arise draws the walk to load the bases, and Luke Weaver comes in. Manny delivers just an absolute missile double to score two. And then Xander, continuing his week of clutchness, drives in the 2 to give the Padres the lead. They go on to the 4-3 win. I want to know what it felt like to be at Yankee Stadium, though, as a Padres fan in the Bronx last night. Ryan Cohen was there and joins us right now here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning. How we doing?
Doing well, man. How about you?
Tired. Still kind of wet and cold, but it was so fun last night. That was awesome.
Dude, I saw your thing. Like, you had to give everybody the story. You should, number one, you shouldn't have even been at the ballpark last night. You're a madman for even being there.
Yeah, I was in San Francisco for the weekend. I took a red eye back. My flight got delayed Sunday night. Didn't get into Newark until 8 a.m. Finally got to NJ Transit to get into the office. I work in Manhattan. And the train shut down, so I didn't get into the office till 10 a.m. Went from work to the Padres games. They're in town. I'm not going to miss that. Starts raining, dumping rain. There's a rain delay. We get into the game, another rain delay. I'm running on like 3.5 hours of airplane sleep, but all worth it for that win. That was so fun.
I love hearing I could hear the Padres fans. I mean, the Yankees fans,
loud.
They kind of left as the rain kind of kept falling, but I heard "Let's go Padres" chants late in the game at Yankee Stadium, which was incredible. I'm sure you took part.
And it was a library in there until the 8th inning. It was so quiet. I mean, you could literally hear whispers. And then the Padres exploded there with 2 outs in the 8th, and it became And I understand. I mean, it's a rainy Monday night. I understand why it wasn't exactly packed to the nines. But the Padres fans who either traveled in or live in the city and went to the game, they were certainly loud, and it was a lot of fun.
Dude, again, I would have been watching from my apartment. I'll just be honest with you. There's no question after a travel day like that, but that's why you're Ryan Cohen, and that's why I'm me. There's just no way I would have been like, man, I'm going to go get nestled up in bed and watch my favorite team play and get some rest, man. And you were out there, you stayed the whole time, and boy, you were rewarded. You were so rewarded last night. That was a special win.
Well, look, man, going to Padres games is my favorite thing in the world.
Yep.
And as much as I love my job and my life in New York, I don't get to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So when there's a chance to, I'm not passing it up.
So I understand that John Boy is working on his lip reading breakdown of Mike Shilt's insanity,
that.
and we can't wait for it. However, Ryan, Paulie has secretly obtained some of the audio from behind home plate. I don't know where he had a microphone placed, but we've actually got some of the Shildt audio of the argument.
Oh,
and we're going to play it for you all coming up in our next segment. Ryan, thank you so much for calling in,
Thanks,
man.
brother.
And
We
let's
love
see
you,
if we
man.
can get another win today.
love you, buddy.
Miss you guys. Let's get another one tonight.
There he is, Ryan Cohen, joining us from New York City. We will talk about the ejection, the screaming match between Shildt and Adrian Johnson. Hear from the manager. All coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Already had our first call in from New York today. Second one is coming at the bottom of the hour when Jesse Agler will join us.
Jesse.
Yes.
We might have another one, yes?
So I got a text back. Yeah, I saw the pictures, and our buddy Matt Janella was all dolled up with his wife Katie. But apparently they were just at a special like Met Gala side party. I thought they actually got to go to the Met Gala. He was with some high, level like fashion people and part of the evening, but he wasn't actually inside the Met Gala. But he said they were all conversing. I was just watching the game on my phone the entire time. So
doesn't seem like much of his scene there.
He looked sharp, though. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, he and his wife are beautiful.
But I kept seeing all the Met Gala stuff, which was the big thing in New York last night. And I don't even understand what it's an art museum, right?
I think it's essentially a fundraiser.
Yeah, for the art museum, but they get every celebrity they all go to it.
I'm saying this like looking down my nose at you, like how dare you not know? I asked my wife the same thing last night in bed. What is this for? She goes, it's for the Met, and I go, the Met, the Metropolitan Museum of Art. She goes, yeah, and I go, what? She goes, well, they're raising money for it. I go, oh, the gala, hence the gala. Like I did the Country Coastal gala for our elementary school. Not
basically
quite. It's basically the same thing. Basically.
But
how much were tables going for at the Country Coastal?
Paulie, I was the host. I didn't have to pay.
I was listening to a little Howard Stern on the drive in this morning. They were talking about the Met Gala. $350,000 for a table.
Wow. Good Lord.
Yeah.
I raised a lot of money then.
I assume they take care of most of their fundraising for the year in one night, if that's the case.
Saw Andre 3000 from formerly of Outkast had a piano. He wore a big giant piano.
He
on his
wore
back.
a piano.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay.
There's a theme every year, and I saw Sydney Sweeney looked very good, very attractive. Saw a lot of good-looking people.
Plenty of athletes there as well.
Yeah.
How do they have room for any of the normal people who are paying $350,000 when everybody?
I don't think there are no.
Are the celebrities paying the $350,000 as well when they go?
No, there's no way.
I don't think so.
I think designers buy the tables and then put celebrities
in their clothes.
Yes.
So it's like almost an advertising moment for them.
You know, it's funny. I don't think I would want to go. I don't really like galas of any kind. Really not a big gala guy. Like Galaga, but I don't like galas. But I'll play Galaga all friggin' day, all day long. I have no problem.
Not
with
a Gala guy,
not a Gala guy,
but he does like Galaga.
Yeah.
Galaga guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the Mike Shildt, and I am also, you know me, not that impressed by getting ejected. Anyone can scream their head off,
sure,
but even I have to acknowledge that was the right time and place. That was the moment when Mike Shildt was absolutely within his rights to lose his mind after his star player got ejected. And again, it wasn't just that one call. It was a number of calls. Every close call, seemingly from home plate umpire Adrian Johnson, had gone the way of the Yankees, whether it was balls outside the zone being called strikes for their hitters, or balls inside the zone being called balls against Nick Pivetta earlier in the game. And the frustration had boiled over. Tatis pretty calmly, seemingly, said something to Johnson as he struck out and walked away. And Johnson didn't even have the respect to give him a real heave-ho. I think that's an insult when an umpire just gives a little tiny point.
I agree,
you're
100%.
You're out of there. I thought that was an insult to Tatis, who certainly has the status in the game to deserve better than that from the home plate umpire.
Yes. And again, there's a way that you can get thrown out, and then there's a way that you shouldn't be thrown out. Casually whispering something to him and then walking away didn't show him up, didn't make a big deal out of it. Now, he may have showed him up on the pitch before when he kind of jumped, but again, throw him out then. If you have such a problem with him, then run him there. If you're that sensitive, to walk by, say, hey, man, even if he said, hey, man, that was an absolute horse-ass call, and I had to chase that next one because of it. And then he's walking away, and you give him you threw a guy out as he's walking away from you. That I have a problem with as well. And I always have. So ends up running him. And then Shildt had boiled over at that point. Shildt was on him second inning, third inning. I mean, he was from the dugout. Dude, when I say he was frothing at the mouth, he was. He had the We
You texted me in like the 5th inning.
He had some gum in there that helped.
Well,
But, yeah.
Hannah and I call it the meh. When you have that meh on the side of your mouth, he had that meh going last night, and he was hot. He was
It's
hot.
not quite drool.
No, it's not drool, but it's like meh. This is the best way we describe it. Is meh.
Spittle.
That meh.
Mm.
You got some meh right here, right? And he was chirping. I sent you guys a video of him in like the 5th or something. He dropped a couple MFs there in the 5th. And
Mud even had to acknowledge a little HBO language there from Mike Shildt.
My whole family rewound it and watched it over and over and over.
After he told us that all he does on, in the hotel room is read the Bible and sleep on his own
He doesn't
pillow.
eat sweets, nothing.
Yeah.
Listen, he's an imperfect human, like all of us, right? We all fall short. All right, we all lose our cool from time to time. And again, you talk about picking your moments. He picked the right moment. And when Tatis got run, that he'd seen enough at that point, and he realized, man, we are down 3 runs. He walks out, the paper goes flying, the glasses go off, and I went, "Oh, Adrian Johnson, I do not want to be you right now." And actually, we were able to get just a little bit of the audio.
Yeah, you couldn't hear this on the television broadcast, but if you listened very closely,
We got Dave
on
Marcus's
the 97.3,
inside microphone.
the field
here.
mic. Yeah, this is what it sounded like in the 8th inning last night.
1-2 the pitch. Fernando swings and misses at the changeup, strike 3. Tatis will have parting words for Johnson right in his ear, and Fernando's been ejected. Boy, didn't yell at him, didn't show him up, just kind of whispered sweet nothings into his ear. And Adrian Johnson casually ejected Tatis. Now Mike Shildt is out there, and he is hot.
You threw him out? You threw him out? You want to go? You mother sucking mother you. No, you. That's 3 times, you mother. Got him. Man, he was hot. He was so hot last night. Whew.
Possibly a dramatic
a
reenactment.
Yeah,
maybe.
Although you might have been fairly accurate.
Yeah, well, I watched it 50 times. I couldn't get enough. There's nothing I love more than a great ejection, especially when it's my guy.
Only lasted about 2 minutes longer than even you could pull it off. That's how hot he was. He kept
you
going.
threw him out? You want to go? You mother sucking mother you. No, you. That's 3 times, you mother. Here's what I didn't like, and somebody brought this up in the chat. The umpire then, now again, all right, let me take my, here, I'll do it like Shildt does it. Ready? Take my Padres glasses off. You're Adrian Johnson. You've been getting worn out the whole game. It's raining. You're wet. You stink. You stink. The game is a slog. You're standing in mud. All right, so let me try to really put myself in his shoes. They're up your ass all night. They're screaming at you. Toddy says something to you. You lose your mind for a second. Then you see Shildt come out, flip the script, throw the glasses. He gets in your face. He's screaming at you. He started giving it back to Shildt, and that's when I went, this may go to fisticuffs, dude. At this point, like we
know that the manager can't touch the umpire.
Yeah.
I was wondering what happens when the umpire takes a swing at the manager.
Bro, and he started giving it.
Shildt kind of bumped him a little bit on the arm.
I didn't see any contact, thank God. But he did not have a good game last night, man. He really didn't. And again, we'll wait for the umpire scorecard. Mike Shildt did reference the old umpire scorecard in his postgame. Paulie, do we have his postgame?
Yeah, here's actual.
Listen, this is really
real Mike Shildt.
Hey, boy.
So Toddy, I thought, handled it very well in the sense of, and I'll start by saying this. I mean, look, it's a hard job. I've got good relationships, great relationships with and respect and
pause.
The work of
Paulie and I both told our wives last night in the middle of this. I go, babe, wake up. Shilt's gonna say, I love the umpires. I love them. I mean, it's a hard job. I respect them. I said, I promise you, this guy is the ultimate bread, meat, bread. I've told you guys about bread, meat, bread. Hey, man, I really like you. You're a great guy. You're also kind of a jerk. But at the end of the day, you have a big heart. So you give him a little
respect for the umpire. It's a thankless job. He was terrible. That might be the worst umpire I've ever seen. But look, it's a really hard job.
Bread, meat, bread. So he hits you right out of the bat. He's the master psychologist. Bread hits you with the bread first.
And Toddy had some pitches that didn't agree with. I didn't agree with earlier. I had made my comments from the dugout known. which I don't do a ton. But did it, walks away, hand over his mouth, and next thing you know, he's ejected, walking away with his back turned for his first major league ejection. And then there's a comment about, which I won't even share the comment. All I can say is this. We'll talk about track record. I don't have players that I've managed for a long time now, minor leagues, big leaguers. I don't have players that get ejected. My job's to do, and I don't get ejected a lot. All right. So, but I probably have the fewest amount of player ejections in my time managing. So our players play, they stay in the game. They're very respectful, rightfully so, to the umpires. I have the majority of the league that over the course of many years have been complimentary about how our players respect them, and me and our staff respect them. But he made a decision. He threw him out. I let the body of the work for the umpire grade speak for itself, and we'll leave it at that.
There it is.
Your glasses escape unscathed.
My glasses made it. I did have my head about me to make sure. I got some, a lot of BPs, so my shoulders, not as operable as I'd like. But it came into play, and I made sure it stayed in the grass. I don't want them scratched. I like these glasses a lot.
Have you ever thrown your glasses before from an argument like that one?
No, I don't think I have.
AJ Casabella.
What did
Have you ever thrown your glasses before from an argument like that one?
No, I don't think I have.
I'm looking up career ejections right now.
Aaron Boone is the active leader, I would imagine, in the other side of the dugout.
So number one all time is Bobby Cox.
Yeah.
John McGraw. The active leader right now is Bruce Bochy.
Oh, well, all right.
makes
Just
sense.
the years accumulated.
The second one may surprise you. Sleepy Bob Melvin.
Really?
Terry Francona, Aaron Boone,
Yeah.
Bud Black, Craig Counsell, AJ Hinch, Torrey Lavulo, Brian Snitker, Kevin Cash, Brandon Hyde, Rocco Baldelli, Oliver Marmol, Alex Cora, Derek Shelton, Ron Washington, Mark Kotze, Dave Martinez. Then,
Wow.
old Shildt. I don't know that I think last night was his 15th. So he will then catapult up over Kotze and Martinez to be tied with Ron Washington for career ejections. Dave Roberts with 12, which surprises me because that dude barks. Maybe he just doesn't get run a lot, but they constantly cut to the dugout of him just barking at the umps. Maybe they just don't run him. But yeah, Shildt is he's down on the list because he's managed a lot of games. He's been doing this a long time. But it was a good one. It was a Hall of Fame ejection last night.
And you can argue whether it helped the Padres, inspired the Padres. I will accept arguments either way. Hey, Padre, it doesn't matter if the manager gets ejected. You still need to execute. You need to get on base. You need to get hits. The Padres did that. I have no doubt in my mind, though, that his players appreciated and respected him going out there and making their case for them and taking the ejection for the rest of them.
Now, I was not listening to the radio broadcast here on 97.3 The Fan, and I think I should have. I was texting Jesse Agler after the game, and I guess Tony Gwynn Jr. remembered that Adrian Johnson and Mike Shildt have a little history. Adrian, Ben, was on that crew during the National Series. So Shildt and he have gotten into it before. I think that's what Tony was saying. And so, yeah, maybe a little bit of history with these guys.
So that was when the Padre, the warning with Jurickson Profar coming up to the plate, and they did not then throw out the pitcher for the Nationals when he immediately hit Jurickson. Mackenzie Gore at the first batter of the game.
That's right.
And he was insanely mad. Like, okay, you just warned everybody. They threw at the first guy, and you're going to do nothing about it.
Still one of the most egregious things I've ever seen on a baseball field.
No, Brandon says, no, the Blue Jays series last year when Profar got ejected for tossing his helmet down. Okay, that one. That's the one.
Okay, not the National Series.
Maybe not the National Series. But Tony went into it in detail on the radio broadcast. Just another reason you should listen to games right here on 97.3 The Fan, home of your San Diego Padres. But yeah, a little bit of history there between the two.
So, ultimately the Padres do come from behind then and get the 4-3 win. They have now won 6 games in a row, and they are a season high 12 games above 500 for the first time. They have completely erase the 4-game losing streak and then some. And by the way, just throw it out there. Bullpen did a great job again. Matsui allowed the inherited run to score, but overall, 4 shutout innings, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. And congratulations to Ryan Burgert, who picked up his first major league victory. A lost story in the game last night, but I'm sure he was celebrated in the clubhouse after the game at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, Shildt gave him some flowers after the game. And hey, how about this, man? Ryan Burgert, 25 years from now. Oh, yeah, I got my first win in Yankee Stadium against the New York Yankees and Aaron Judge. And,
comeback win.
Comeback win.
In that weather.
Estrada, by the way, as Il619 says, he was a dog. I mean, that ball is soaking wet. All those guys last night, man, you cannot say enough about what they were able to do. I'm so glad that everyone got out of there unscathed. You saw Goldschmidt get a knock in the 9th, slip coming out of the box. You saw Lockridge, the 8th. You saw Lockridge go after the ball, slip hard on his butt. Those guys, and credit to Lockridge, Jason Hayward, those fly balls up through the rain. Hayward backing up, they talked about on the broadcast. Bro, he was in like a lunge position when he caught it. You get 1 foot on the track, you slipped
in some mud.
I mean, it was.
And I've got to imagine, especially when like a guy like Judge is up, he takes a swing.
Oh my God!
You got to read that fly ball hit to center field, which I thought probably hit 500 feet, but he just hit it 500 feet in the air. I don't know that I remember a fly ball taking longer to come down from the sky.
Pouring rain in your eyes, and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Fly balls are hard as hell to catch anyway.
You can give me 100 tries to catch that one. I'm not even touching the ball once on the way down.
Shawshank Redemption. Just
yeah, that's exactly right. Waiting for a fly ball to come. You give Andy Dufresne a glove and a ball and say, if you catch this, you're out. Scot-free. He's dropping that ball. He's going right back inside. It was, it was a great win.
And then Robert Suarez coming in. When you know the Yankees want more than anything to come back and steal that one away and just locking it down for his 14th save with a couple of strikeouts. I mean, going to go down as one of the most memorable games of the season.
Real quick, I had a question last night watching the game. So the umpire crews stay the same for the series.
Yeah.
Now, home plate switches over first, third, whatever. They all switch around. But they're all going to be there when the lineup cards are exchanged at home plate today. I'm like, I don't know if Shildt is just it happened yesterday. It's over. We move on. Is it ever awkward the next day after an ejection like that?
Bro, I don't think so. I really don't. And again, when you're a manager, you have to be.
Does that umpire just sit there and not say anything?
No, I think you have to be. And it wouldn't surprise me at all to find out Mike Shildt dropped a text to the dude last night. It wouldn't.
Went over to the umpire's locker room.
100%, Paulie. Look, when you're a manager, your number one job is to be a politician. That's it. You have to be a politician with the media. You have to be a politician with your players, and you have to be a politician with your umpires. And you heard his response last night. He did not get in there and say that was the worst. He goes, no, it's a hard job. I get it. I got a lot of respect for those guys. People lose their cool all the time in baseball. And I think I saw a perfect example. Did you guys see what happened with Tarek Skubal and Zach Neto?
Yeah.
So Skubal, he takes Skubal yard in the first inning. And he does his little thing and does his phone call that when he hits third base. Skubal kind of stares at him. Skubal strikes him out the next time. Stares at him and says, see, I can do it too. And Neto's like, F you, whatever. The bench is clear. The bullpen's running. It was a whole much ado about nothing. Then they cut to Skubal, Ben, looking at the Angels dugout. This is 30 seconds later. My bad. And Neto goes, okay, cool. It happens, and then it's over, and you have to.
You let bygones be bygones.
You just
baseball.
have to.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
All right, we will take a quick timeout. When we come back, don't and do this. Someone needs to teach Eric Karros about context clues.
This is greatness, dude. Hey, Eric, who's on first?
And friend of the show gets a big job in Major League Baseball. How about that yesterday? We'll talk about it coming up next with Ben and Woods after a check at traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Quickly, guys, let me tell you about all of the fine work that they are doing over at my beloved, and I do mean beloved, QC Kinetics. You guys know my story about my very painful wrists, and these guys got tired of hearing me complain about it, and I complained about it a lot. My wife, everybody did. Finally, went into QC Kinetics, got the treatments on my wrists, and they have been better and stronger I think, than they've ever been. What they're doing here in San Diego is nothing short of remarkable. They're using regenerative cell therapy to restore tissue in your achy joints. I was skeptical when I went in. I'm no longer skeptical at all. If I ever have joint pain again, that's the first place I'm going. I'm not going to my doctor. I'm going to QC Kinetics. All right. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life, repairing old tissue. And listen, the most important thing is if it's keeping you from doing things that you love to do, you don't have to live that way anymore. Call them today for a free consultation and learn about how these cutting-edge treatments can help you live your best life, get you back on the golf course, in the ocean, whatever it may be. 619-614-PAIN. 619-614-PAIN is their number. It's QC Kinetics. 619-614-PAIN.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
We're just going to get to it because we got Jesse Agler set to call us in about 10 minutes from New York City and get his thoughts on the game last night. First, though, Don't Do This is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't.
Leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do.
Set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. And we'll start, Woods, with a San Diego native, Patrick Henry High School's Eric Karros.
I laughed. I listened to this a few times last night. Hi-Song Kim, not Ha-Song Kim. Hi-Song Kim making his major league debut last night. Benjamin
actually pinch ran earlier, but
right.
Yeah,
getting his
got
first
his first hit and first start.
Yeah, first start, got his first hit, got his first RBI for the Dodgers, and he was back in the field. And another player for the Marlins slid into second base and said something to Hi-Song Kim. And this little exchange between, what is his name? Steven Nelson and Eric Karros had me rolling.
Baseball fraternity, EK. I was going to say, does Fortes speak Korean? Right? Like, how do you know what he's saying right there? Like, you
read
just
his lips. Congratulations.
You know what congratulations is?
No, he said it in English, EK. Congratulations. Kim, he understands congratulations.
Right. I'm saying who said congratulations? Fortes.
Fortes.
Yeah, right. You're saying Kim said congratulations.
No, I'm saying Fortes told Kim congratulations.
And he knows congratulations.
My brain is in a blender right now.
Oh my God.
On the center field, right at Chris Taylor. That's out number 3 in the 5th inning. 5-0 Dodgers.
Who's on first?
So
no.
Fortes of the Marlins.
Yes.
Congratulated Hi-Sung Kim on his first
hit.
big league hit in RBI.
Yeah, congratulations.
Quick. Hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
Even if Hi-Sung Kim doesn't totally understand English, it's a fairly okay, guys, give me a smile and a nod.
Well done.
I think I can probably deduce in any language what he is saying right there.
No. Does he speak Korean? No, Eric. Yeah, probably I need it one more time. It's so good. No.
Baseball fraternity, EK.
Yeah, it is.
I was going to say, does Fortes speak Korean?
What?
Right? Like, how do you know what he's saying right there? Like, you
read
just
his lips. Congratulations.
You know what congratulations is?
No, he said it in English, EK. Congratulations. Kim, he understands congratulations.
Right. I'm saying who said congratulations? Fortes.
Fortes.
Yeah, right. You're saying Kim said congratulations.
No, I'm saying Fortes told Kim congratulations.
And he knows congratulations.
My brain is in a blender right now.
I thought you said I was all right, Spider. No, you're not all right, Spider. You're a real sniveling piece of ass. No. I thought you said. No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, that's overcomplicating the situation there, Eric.
Somebody tweeted out. I was crying laughing. I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
All right, we're running out of time. Let's skip right ahead to a little do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
And how about this? Congratulations to, I guess Big League Wednesdays are going to be changing a little bit going forward, because out of seemingly the blue, our guy Brett Boone was named the new hitting coach of the Texas Rangers yesterday. We were just talking, I think yesterday, about the Rangers firing their hitting coach / offensive coordinator. Yep. First time Boch has ever relieved a coach of duty during the season. And they have gone with Boone, who did play for Boch back in 2000 for the Padres. And, thinking a different voice in there is going to make a difference. So congratulations to Brett Boone.
Paulie, you have the audio? Boone was talking about it on his Brett Boone podcast.
You never know where life's going to take you. And the longer I live on this earth, I learned that. It's just, this completely came out of left field. It started, I went up to USC, my alma mater. I threw out a first pitch. I ran into an old buddy of mine.
I saw that.
Michael Young, and he's with the Texas Rangers. And we just started talking, and we had a 10-minute conversation, gave each other a hug. I said, give CY, which is Chris Young, my new boss, the president of the Rangers, and obviously the skipper, Bruce Bochy, I played under in 2000, but we become, have a really good friendship with him for a lot of years. And I get home and the phone's ringing, and it's Bruce Bochy. And the first thing I thought is, this is weird. Mid-season, I know the Rangers have been scuffling with that offense. 2 years ago, they won the World Series and with the best offense in baseball, and now they're scuffling a little bit. I said, this is a weird time for Bruce to be calling. So I answered the phone as I do, and I said, Bruce, I know. Can't get enough. You want to come back on the podcast? Because we've had Bruce on quite a few times. And he said, no, Booney, it's a different call. And he kind of ran it by me, and he said, "Why don't you think about it?" And I talked to my wife, and I talked to the people close to me, and it didn't take long. It was one of those things where I didn't know where this journey's taking me, but if there's a guy to get back on the field for the first time in a long time for me, there's no reason. Bruce Bochy's number one on my list. I mean, he's number one.
That's crazy. He goes and he
that was like on Saturday.
He sees Saturday, and he sees his old pal Michael Young, who, by the way, was
one of my favorite players.
Fantastic hitter. And 10-minute conversation, Ben. Young then gets on the phone, calls CY and Boch, and says, "Hey, what about Brett Boone? I love what he had to say in this 10-minute conversation."
Guy's just there with his family to throw out the first pitch at a college baseball game.
I mean, it's bananas. So I texted Booney. I go, "This is incredible." He goes, "Pretty random." That's what he wrote back. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I would imagine that the podcast is done, and I would imagine our big league. I'm sure we can have Brett Boone on,
as a guest, every once in a while. But yeah,
he's also Odyssey MLB insider.
Yeah,
Boone. I don't think that's gonna happen anymore.
I wouldn't think so. Texas Rangers probably need to stroke a big fat check to Odyssey.
Yeah,
I will say now between Boch, CY, Skip, Brett, we're as dialed in as any radio program in America for the Texas Rangers now.
All of the shows in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are so jealous of us and our connections. You guys wish you
if
had.
They cared about the Rangers.
If they
Dallas.
cared even a little bit. They have moved from the Mavericks right to the Cowboys, just so you know.
Oh, yeah. Only 3 months until training camp.
Yeah.
She's got the Stars in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Stars still in the playoffs.
It's true.
Yeah, they are not talking any.
And
Rangers
that is
baseball.
don't and do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Somebody made the point yesterday on Twitter. The Ben and Woods coaching tree is looking pretty good.
It's healthy. It's green.
It is
It's
green. It's
lush
blooming.
and blooming in this spring of the Ben and Woods coaching tree. All right, Jesse Agler is going to join us. It is an Incorporator Tuesday. He's going to call in from New York, get his firsthand thoughts on last night's amazing come-from-behind 4-3 win for the Padres. Coming up next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. And if you could predict that comeback last night, boy, do I have an app for you. Prize Picks is your way to turn daily fantasy into real cash. Millions of members around the country have already won billions of dollars playing daily fantasy with Prize Picks. All you have to do is pick more or less, set lineups between 2 and 6 players on their stat projections for your chance to win up to 2,000 times your money. I play all the time, set my lineups during baseball season, innings pitched for pitchers, strikeouts for pitchers, hits plus RBI plus runs scored, all kinds of different options for you, multiple players on every team on every night, whatever game you're watching. You can set a Prize Picks lineup, and every Tuesday, which would be today, Prize Picks gives you discounted projections on the board, usually by 15% to 25%. That is Taco Tuesday, so check out the options today, whether it's in the basketball playoffs, the hockey playoffs. You can play it all and more with Prize Picks. So easy to do. Just use the code KWFN when you download the app and get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly with your first $5 lineup using the code KWFN. With Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Just heard Paulie talking to Jesse Agler on the phone during the break. He said, "We'll get right to you. Just hang on hold." But Jesse's used to waiting now. I mean, rain delay on Friday, rain delay on Saturday, 2 rain delays on Monday. I'm assuming he can make it through a 45-second Kelly Danick traffic report, no problem at this point.
Yep.
Do whatever you do, Jesse, while you're waiting around to go on the air. And we will get to the voice of the Padres coming up momentarily here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by City Cruises. A couple things to mention here, guys. 2-vehicle accident blocking the fast lane northbound 805 just past the 54. And looks like we got a ladder in lanes westbound 52 near the 5. And guess what? Somebody hit it. So watch out for a little confusion there. Westbound 52 near the 5. Set sail with Randy Hauser as he lights up the bay for an exclusive concert cruise like no other. Join us on Friday, May 23rd with City Cruises live in San Diego for an epic night of country music, dinner, drinks, and skyline views. Get tickets now at citycruises.com/live. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, the tarp is coming off the studio. The radio hosts are returning to their microphones, and it looks like we will play Incorporator this morning with Jesse Agler, who is standing by from the Big Apple. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
Tired?
A little bit. You know, I mean, it's funny because I think the rain delay becomes a very good storyline for us and for you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I really don't think the ones we've had have been that bad, which sounds maybe crazy. But, you know, I mean, at the beginning is the way to do it, which was the case, right, in Pittsburgh the first 2 days and the first one last night, because then it's sort of like, all right, everybody just kind of stays in their pregame routine. And then the one that was in the game yesterday was, I think, 28 minutes. So not like disaster rain scenarios like we've seen other times. And, you know, it's been a lot, certainly. But it might sound crazy, but I think this whole thing could have been a lot worse.
Man, it could have. And speaking of a lot worse, it could have been a lot worse last night. The field conditions toward the end of the game were, I mean, nothing short of treacherous. You saw Goldschmidt slip coming out of the box. You saw Lockridge fall right on his butt. Looked like he was on ice skates out in center field. I had my fingers crossed that nobody ripped a hamstring. That catch that Hayward made back to the warning track, I was like, oh God, his foot's about to go out from under him. I mean, those guys grinded through that one last night, Jesse.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, even it seemed like the things that looked like routine pop-ups or routine fly balls were not routine. You know, just having to look up into the sky, and it was foggy and hazy and cloudy and then rainy. So yeah, no, I mean, it's it kind of is what it is, obviously, and everybody wanted to get it in. You know, this is something that's changed a little bit maybe in the last, call it 15 years, where Major League Baseball is very, very committed to getting these games in when scheduled, whenever possible.
Yeah.
And so there's more waiting than maybe there used to be. Not that there didn't used to be long rain delays at times, but I think in the past there was much more of a willingness, probably because of the schedule, especially in the pre-98 expansion era, maybe even the pre-93 expansion era, where, you know, you play teams a bunch more, so it was a lot easier to, you know, play a doubleheader later on in the season. They really try and avoid that now whenever possible. So you are going to have more nights like last night. But I tell you what, grounds crew at Yankee Stadium did an incredible job. You know, I know it was wet at the end, but I mean, that was just, you know, as good as it was going to get yesterday. And the little rain delay in the fourth inning, it was amazing how good the field was when they resumed play. So again, like in terms of the weather, not ideal, but definitely could have been way worse.
Jesse Woods was very poetic at the beginning of the show about why he thinks baseball is by far the best sport. And last night was an illustration. It was a game that was a slog, wasn't going well for the Padres. Felt like you could have easily just thrown in the towel and lived to fight another day, but that's not what happened and turned in to what I would imagine will end up being one of your more memorable games on the microphone in your career. Give us your perspective just of calling that comeback, the ejections, everything that went in to the eighth inning last night.
Yeah, it was a signature win this year for this team. I don't think there's any doubt. And I mean, they've had a couple like this, certainly, in terms of the comebacks. But I think this one, as you alluded to, was a little bit extra, right? I mean, between the ejections, between the weather, between just sort of the weirdness of the night, and truly because it was at Yankee Stadium, it felt a little bit more special than maybe some of those other comeback wins did. And it was two really good teams facing off, and the Padres took advantage of the Yankees' ultimate weakness here in 2025, which is the back end of that bullpen. And I know Weaver's been great this year, but they got to Devin Williams, who's been gotten a bunch this year. He's off to one of those like miserable New York starts. I think the transition from Milwaukee to New York has been a very tough one on Devin Williams. Not that he can't get it figured out at some point and turned around, but he hasn't. And the Padres, really almost as if it were scripted, took full advantage of what he's been going through. And then, to get the first run of the season against Weaver had allowed 3 hits all year. Padres got 2 against him back to back last night. So, I mean, that's the kind of performance that they were able to put together. But that is what this team is. That is the identity of this Padre team, as set very firmly by their manager, Mike Shildt. And they've got the talent to back that mindset up. And that's why I think you see games like last night.
Talking to the great Jesse Agler here on Ben and Woods this morning. And, Jesse, that was a Hall of Fame ejection for Mike Shildt. I don't know that he'll end up in Cooperstown. He very well could one day. That will be one that I will remember forever. That was – and I saw it coming. And I saw it coming in about the 4th, 5th inning. He was barking all night. And, when you see your star player get thrown out with his back to the umpire, he came out and he let him have it. Now, you guys – what was the history? There's a history between Shildt and Adrian Johnson?
Yeah, calling it a history might be overstating it a little bit, but we had him on opening day against Atlanta, and there was plenty of barking that day. And so, Jesse does a little digging and found out that, that wasn't the first time that there had been some disagreements with that particular umpire. So you had some stuff from the past, then that kind of bubbled up again on opening day this year in that game against the Braves. And then, yesterday it boiled over. Those are always things to keep in mind. Very few things in baseball happen in a vacuum. Sometimes something will pop up and occur, but oftentimes when you see that sort of energy, there's something more to it. So we were on that, talking about it. And certainly I think earlier in the game, you could see Mike was not going to give Johnson, a lot of leeway on some of the calls that they didn't like. And I don't have any doubt, not that they would necessarily say this, but I don't have any doubt that some of the stuff that's occurred in the past, including, at the end of March, probably had an impact on what took place yesterday. And Fernando, just to take a moment, that to me was a work of art, what Fernando pulled off, because he knew, I would think, and I haven't talked to him yet, but I would imagine he knew he was going to say exactly what he said, and it was going to result in an ejection. There are certain words, phrases, compound words, if you prefer, that will pretty much have that result. The way he did it, though, was like a drive-by, like a silent assassin. Just kind of this little, I'm going to whisper it right in your ear, walk away, and never even look back at you. And to me, it was honestly like a work of art. So funny. And, as you said, Mike came out there to back his guy up. I'm sure you guys have talked about it or played it or you will. But, Shildt, after the game, he's saying, like, one of the things he takes pride in is his players not getting ejected. And so to come out there and be able to back Fernando up in that way was very, very entertaining.
They don't, Jesse, you watch every single game. I watch every single game. They don't whine a lot. They don't. There are major league teams, I won't mention any name, the Dodgers, but cry and piss and moan about every ball that doesn't go their way. Managers, they just don't. They're not that team. They're not that real gripey, bitchy team. I just don't see it out of them. When he said that last night, it was a light bulb in my head. I went, dude, he's right. He's absolutely right. You may see the head tilt, the kind of the funny look at the umpire, but you don't see these guys like constantly whining like you see so many other teams. The Dodgers do.
No, they're not. They've had guys the last couple of years. There's one who's not playing for the next 70 or so games who used to take exception to a lot of
Yes.
calls, but that was kind of his personality, his thing, not the thing of the team. And that's fine. Look, every team usually has a guy or two like that. But you're right. I mean, generally they don't make a big thing of it because that's the mentality of this team. The mentality is to just turn the page and, all right, I'm not getting that call. I might be annoyed. I might shoot the look. I might have a quick word, but I'm not going to let that impact the next pitch because if I do, I'm putting myself at a competitive disadvantage. This team is so competitive. This team is so locked in on winning. It's not about individual numbers. It's not about one call I got or I didn't get. It's about trying to do whatever I can to win. And that means when you get a bad call, you have to flush it right away because you got to get ready for the next one.
So did you see Jackson Merrill in the clubhouse? He did not. We thought he was going to be activated yesterday. Kind of glad he didn't have to slide around on that outfield.
Yeah, are you
but
kidding me?
it looks like today will be the day that Jackson Merrill now returns to the Padres lineup.
You see him in the dugout before the game?
I did not.
Oh, you did not?
I did not see him.
He was there all day.
Okay.
He was there.
Dude,
yeah,
he was
there
so
yesterday.
fired up, like a little kid.
Yeah, so he's there. If things are dry tonight, I would expect him to be out there. But not necessarily a guarantee with the weather. Although it's supposed to be pretty much okay tonight. But yeah, he was there all day yesterday. Got to watch the game, do the whole thing pregame, and obviously very good news. I don't think the plan was ever for him to go back yesterday. They had kind of decided to do a day off after the 2 rehab games at AA. So yesterday was kind of that rest day. So I think theoretically today is the plan for Jackson Merrill. But we'll wait and see exactly what happens when we get down there, up there.
All right. I don't know. I feel like I need to switch now because what do you think I should do?
I think we may need to find a new word.
Yes.
And we'll tell our audience once we figure out the word and then maybe give it to Jesse.
I
got a word.
I didn't realize. I thought it was an art term that I had for Jesse, but it also
very
has a
much
very
not an art term.
inappropriate.
It's a deviant, sexual,
Ben,
disgusting.
Jesse,
I am so sorry.
You will. I'm gonna.
I expect that from Woodsy, but not from
No,
you.
well, it was accidental for me.
There's only one massive pervert on this show, and it's not me. I'm sending this to you now.
No, don't
I
even
just
send
sent it to
him.
Jesse.
All right,
and then I'm going to give.
It is an art term. It is absolutely an art term.
You are.
But I don't think we should do it. I don't think we should do it.
You have lost your mind.
I did not see that definition when in my research.
It's the root word of the word he wanted to give you. Let me know when you get it.
Well, he's not going to do it. There's no chance.
No, I know he's not going to do it, but I want him to see what kind of pervert, deviant creep that I'm working with on a daily basis. Look at this, what he wanted to give you tonight.
All right, hold on. Let me look at my.
All right.
I googled.
Paulie, thank God for you for looking that up.
I was
could have
pulling
gotten
up
him
the
in.
pronunciation.
Yeah.
That's,
you don't want to do that.
Well,
yeah, that's not one that.
Now here's my question, I guess. So Ben, I never heard of that. Ben,
I had never heard of it either.
I haven't.
So Woods is Woods caught this one.
Paul did.
Paul did.
Thank God.
Thank Paul.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm going to switch it now. I'll stay in the world of art, and I don't think we've done this one.
Art.
Yes,
that's not art.
It was. It
I guess
was
some
an art
people
term.
might call it
was an art
art
term. All right, let's do this. Paulie won't have it for you, but I've got it for you. Diptych.
Whoa, God!
It's an artwork consisting of 2 pieces or panels that together create a single art piece.
Diptych.
Beautiful.
Diptych. 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 What?
Lovely.
I'm letting our chat know.
I can post the word.
I just put it in the chat.
No, it's not ing. It's age.
Okay.
You've got it wrong. My term was going. It was the art. It was defined as I saw it as the art technique of using charcoal or chalk to create like a textured contour to your artwork.
Sure.
But the other way is for 2 guys to cross their swords is a nice way to say it. That's the other root word.
So we won't give you that.
Dictionary definition is the practice or touching or rubbing against a clothed body of another person in a crowd as a means
inappropriate
of
right
obtaining
that's fine. Diptych.
Diptych
is the word for Jesse.
I'm so sorry,
for the
Jesse.
incorporated
Good
tonight.
God.
Good luck, Jesse.
Wash your hands, boys.
All right. Jesse Agler joining us from New York City.
Why does he put up with us, man? Oh God. Paulie, what prompted you to go look up the root word?
I googled. I went on Google and I typed in the word. Because that's how I get the pronunciation.
And the first definition that did come up was an art terminology, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
What's
and
the
then
second?
on the right side of the screen on Google, it has the root word.
Right.
I didn't look up the root word.
Clearly you didn't.
Should I show it in the chat?
Sure, you show it in the chat. It's so
you're
deviant.
You were texting us about it last night. You're like, hey,
He was very
I got the
excited
word.
about
I didn't
it.
Google it then, but I Googled the word to get the
I was thinking with the
pronunciation.
Met Gala last night, let's do something art related for Jesse. And I was looking at what are some weird art terms, and this one came up.
You don't
in my
always have to
research.
go on theme.
I like
real or
themes.
fake
I
this
like
week will be the
themes.
famous artists. Like it doesn't have to be on theme.
I like themes. I do.
That root word, man.
I kept the art theme with diptych.
I don't usually like text you guys or try to get
No,
your attention
during
especially
the
during
show.
an interview,
An
during a
interview.
segment. I was like, you might want to check your phone.
All right, fine. Fair enough. Thank you, Paulie.
Thank you.
That's what a
So
good
much.
producer / editor is.
Yes.
That's what
Dodged
you're
a
around
bullet
for.
there.
We dodged such a bullet.
All right, we will come back. As I teased earlier, we have a major guest announcement for tomorrow's show coming up to lead off the second half of Ben and Woods. Do not go away. We will continue. We got more Padres talk as well. And Jim Lampley, legendary sportscaster in studio at 9 a.m. right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Halfway home on a Tuesday, but a very fun show this morning here on Ben and Woods. Could have gone the other direction last night. Certainly it was headed that way until our San Diego Padres bailed us out. They bailed us out. That's how I look at it every time they have a win like that. You saved our bacon, Padres. We thank you for that. It was such an exciting game to watch. And man, just a great win. One we'll hopefully be talking about for a long time. You know, you look at it and say, oh, this could be the thing that propels the, you just don't know with baseball. It just doesn't really work that way. They've been playing so well right now, handling business on this road trip. It's been incredible to watch. They just never are dead. They never seem out of it. Very excited to get that game going today. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer of the program, and Ben Higgins is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor as well. He of the very devious mind.
Safe to say that that's the Padre way now.
Yeah,
under Mike Shildt. They never quit.
Yeah,
I mean, we saw it time and time again last year, and it's carried right on over to this year.
There's a very clear message from Shildt, very clear. And when they asked him the very first question last night, he always makes it a point to talk about, well, it's not just tonight, it's every night. It's every night in this team, every night. They talked to several players after the game. They talked to Tatis. He spoke glowingly of his manager having his back. They talked to Manny. They talked to Xander. They talked to Arise. All of these guys. Now, you know what, man? It's like, it doesn't matter if I believe it or Ben believes it or Paul believes it or anybody listening believes it. All that matters in the universe is that those players in the locker room believe in their manager. That's it.
And he's not the first coach or manager in history who's had a message of don't give up to his team. Right. Believe, we can do this. It's actually, a fairly common message, but I think what resonates
Jace Tingler, actually, I thought he said, hey guys, just give up. Quit.
I think what resonates though is that the players have seen the fruits of not giving up over and over again. And so they've bought in 100%. A message is only as good as how much buy-in you get from your players. And if you have, players who just don't believe it, who roll their eyes because it's not delivered in the right way, or they're not seeing the results from the message, everyone wants to see good results. If they're going to put their time and effort into something, they want some payback from it. And the Padres have had good payback from Mike Shildt and his message this last season plus a month that he's been the skipper of the Padres.
Yeah, I just can't say enough good things about that eighth inning last night. Watching guys work walks, watching guys get on for the big boys behind them, watching, the what Jesse just said. There's two words that I learned in baseball recently. This isn't something I learned when I was 10, 11, 12, when I first started playing the game. And I think they're the two most powerful words in baseball. You know what they are? So what? I hear it all the time. So what? Oh, that call didn't go your way. So what? Umpire blew one. So what? It's so powerful. And I think, if you're a coach for little kids, especially, there's grown-ass men that are employing this on a daily basis. We're seeing it here. I think those are truly, in this awful, awful sport of ours that we love so much, that is also the best, the two most important words. So what? High strike, first AB, so what? Got another chance. You're going to get another AB. There's going to be another game tomorrow. You're going to have another game next week. Whatever it is. So what? So what? You booted one? So what? Get the next one. It's a message I've used. It's words I use every single game, every single practice. So what? So what? And to see these big leaguers, Ben, living that every single day is pretty cool.
You're always just really one AB away from turning around even the worst of streaks.
No doubt.
Xander was in the torture chamber for most of the first month of the season. They don't win a bunch of these games this week without Xander on this road trip. And
his offense and his defense, a couple of really, really nice plays. Credit where credit is due, driving in runs, doing what we need him to do. Manny last night with a huge, huge knock off of Luke Weaver, who's given up 3 hits all year. Man, that got me so fired up. Then, smart base running, smart send by Tim Leeper there. Cody Bellinger's a pretty good outfielder, but wet ball, wet track. Now, Manny's also running on a wet field, wet track as well. That throws 10 feet up the line. If that throws on point, they may get him, but great send, smart send, in my opinion. You're on the road. Like, take that shot there. And just a couple of clutch knocks in a row, back-to-back by the captain and Xander Bogaerts. I was elated with that last night.
I want to bring up the guy who started the winning rally once again as well. It was Tyler Wade who drew the walk.
Unbelievable.
And talk about a guy who could have thrown in the towel. They DFA'd him.
Yeah, they DFA'd him.
And he didn't sulk. He didn't pout.
You know what he said? So what?
He easily could have elected free agency, but he said, you know what? I still feel like I've got chances in this organization.
Yep.
I'm just going to put my nose to the grindstone, wait for my opportunity at AAA, and when they call me up, I'm going to do what I have done with the Padres, and that is little things to contribute. Not going to ever be a star player in Major League Baseball, but he seems like he is going to be part of winning teams because he does things that help you win games. And he did it last year, and now he's doing it again this year for the Padres.
Was there any reason that Iglesias was not playing last night? Did he just need a
slumping,
day?
I think.
Yeah,
I think
he maybe needed a day.
I think they felt like, because otherwise you could have had
Wade on the bench.
But
and Wade had another righty in there with Iglesias.
And when Merrill comes back, I'm wondering what the lineup looks like. Yeah. Do you have Wade in there instead of Iglesias at second when you're in your regular lineup until Jake gets back against righties on the bump? That we may see Wade move into the infield, especially until, Jose Iglesias has been struggling. Even the hits that he's gotten, most of them have been numbers in front of the plate. And I think it was in an 0 for 11 stretch or something a little bit longer. So
yeah, just needed a day.
I think I don't think there was any injury concern, but I think they just feel like Wade right now is a hotter, better option.
Literally hotter. Very handsome.
Handsome guy. He is.
Very handsome guy.
All right. Many of you have figured it out because, I'm the pun master. But our major guest tomorrow satisfies the definition both ways. He's going to be Major Garrett.
Yeah, buddy.
He is not only going to be a guest, he is coming in studio. Not only is he coming in studio, he is coming in studio for, I believe, the entire show, or as he put it, until we kick him out?
Until we get sick of him.
Until we get sick of him tomorrow.
All right, we'll see in like 3 weeks. I don't know.
It's going to take a long time for any of us to get
our new co-host.
sick of Major Garrett. So CBS News chief Washington correspondent, giant Padres fan on the East Coast, very intelligent, connected, savvy Padres fan, is going to be sitting in with us tomorrow as he's back home this week.
Do I need to come in?
I don't know that any of us do. Paul does to push the buttons, and then Major can just
enjoy. He would crush it for
I could do a lot worse.
Yeah,
I think both of us are excited to come in.
I am.
And hang out with Major all morning tomorrow.
I could listen to him go for hours. He just, when he gets going on something, it's so great.
We've had him in studio before.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have him for more than a segment
or
2 segments. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be a part of the show tomorrow and let's just have some fun.
He's a wise man.
Very wise.
And even when we get on topics that are probably not Padres related, I'd imagine he will have a wise comment or two to add to the discourse here.
He's a very measured guy and a very intelligent guy. Hannah said he did a special over the weekend on Sunday morning, and I missed it. Need to go back and watch it. But yeah, he's a brilliant guy. There's no question. And his love for the Padres is really unmatched. He's like the older version of Ryan Cohen. He is when Ryan Cohen grows up. But yeah, he's a great guest. And this came completely out of left field. I had no idea. Paulie just texted us randomly. I was actually on the toilet when you texted. And you said Major Garrett tomorrow in the studio. I'm like, what? For what?
I told you like 3 weeks ago he was going to be in town. He wanted to come in, and
I didn't know that.
I kind of remember that text, but I kind of
now.
forgotten about it as well. So I'm glad he's in.
Right.
Carlos, because we can just tailor all of our segments around take on Major, the Major report. Don't do Major foreplay. Just get it all.
Sounds
Major Garrett related tomorrow.
Sounds good to me. Excited about
Major
that.
Wrap up.
Yeah, we'll be here at 6. Hopefully, we have another win to talk about.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I'm with Michael King on the mound today. It felt like yesterday was the pivot game of the series. Not that the Padres can't win both of them going forward, or that the Yankees can't win both of them going forward, but they got Max Fried waiting in the wings for the series finale tomorrow against Dylan Cease. But today is Michael King against Clark Schmidt, and the Yankees have been very good when Max Fried has started. I believe they're 7-0 when Max Fried starts, and 12-16 now when anybody else starts a game for the New York Yankees this season. So they've kind of got that ace in the hole. Padres have had some success against Max Fried. So again, I'm not saying they can't win that game, but Padres clearly have the advantage today with Michael King. Yankees have the advantage tomorrow. Yesterday was kind of the pivot game with Nick Pivetta on the mound against Carlos Rodon, who was really, really tough.
Really good, man.
But the Padres found a way to pull that game out in the end.
Were you surprised to see both of them come back out after that rain delay?
I was.
Right around like 70, 80 pitches each.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it was if it was
shocked.
another 15 minutes, it probably would have been a different story. But as Jesse mentioned, it's just a 28-minute delay. That's basically sitting down for like a long inning. Kind of in a normal game. There are innings that take 20, 25 minutes sometimes. So it's not completely out of the realm to ask them to come back after that. So I was hoping Rodon would be gone. I mean, definitely was hoping they would pull him out. But once Pivetta went back in, I figured Rodon was probably going back in as well.
Yeah, New York Post talked to Michael King and said, hey, Michael King said, I never once tried to get him out. It'll be a very, very hard challenge. And there's going to be a little bit of extra juice for Michael King tonight. Like there was a little extra juice for Trent Grisham last night, hitting that bomb. And it was very poetic. I mean, you knew it was, we kind of talked about it on the show yesterday. Trent Grisham's off to a really, really good start for the Yankees. And, when he touched up Pivetta, I went, oh God, it's going to be one of those games. And no, it was not one of those games at all. The San Diego Padres did not let that snowball and came back and found a way to win. But should be a fun matchup today with Kinger on the mound against Clark Schmidt.
All right, we have Take on Woods coming up next. If you'd like to be our contestant and try to be the first qualifier for our new grand prize trip to the Park MGM, tickets to Bruno Mars and a $100 gift card, you can call in during our break here, 833-288-0973. Get our musical trivia challenge versus Woodsy. Coming up in our next segment after traffic, it's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And to all the tier ones out there, if your monthly bills are keeping you awake at night, if you're worried about your finances, you're not alone, certainly. You might have racked up sizable amounts on your credit cards, the monthly payment that you make every month, not making a dent right now. It's time to call Loan Pronto. If you own a home, you've got a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands out in cash. Going to save you money in the long run. Loan Pronto has lots of different options for helping you tap into the equity in your home. That's your equity. Use it. Get the cash you need to get back on solid footing right now. Zero that thing out. Start back at zero. It feels so good. Most homeowners should do this. End up wiping out their credit card debt, then cutting their monthly expenses by about $1,000. So you didn't mean to end up here. You don't have to keep stressing about money. Call Loan Pronto today for fast debt relief now. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336 or again, loanpronto.com. When you do go to loanpronto.com, they're going to walk you through the entire process. So, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Mentioned earlier, Padres, knock on wood, getting a little healthier. Jackson Merrill expected back today. Jake Cronenworth could be back by the end of the week. Yu Darvish is in Arizona now, continuing his rehab and getting ready to face live hitters, hopefully for a season debut at the end of May for the San Diego Padres. Other teams, though, Woods, not as fortunate. The Chicago Cubs yesterday placed Shota Imanaga on the 15-day injured list with a hamstring strain. And the Houston Astros placed Yordan Alvarez on the 10-day IL with hand inflammation. So, hey, every team's going to have to weather the storm of injuries throughout the course of the season. The Padres, though, did a good job at least weathering the first storm, which, started to take its toll when they went through that losing skid and were having trouble scoring runs, but they pulled their way out of it, managed to actually finish with a winning record here without Jackson and Jake, and are a season high 12 games above 500 at this point.
Yeah, pretty incredible, man. Pretty incredible without have that record without Jackson Merrill, Jake Cronenworth, Ben. It's again testament to the guys that are there. It's they have that one skid that did feel a little dire. And they looked a little lost at that time, but credit to Tampa Bay for rolling out some really, really good arms at that point, and they sure have righted the ship since then. So we'll keep it rolling today.
And the Padres have done so against a fairly difficult schedule in Major League Baseball. If the Atlanta Braves, who are now just 2 games under 500, and the Rays, who are just 2 games under 500, if they win a few here, the Tigers, the Guardians, first and second place. Yankees, first place in their division. A's are above 500. Astros are now at 500. In the National League, they played the Cubs, who are first place. They played the Giants, who are 8 games above 500. Really, the only bad teams they've played are the Rockies and the Pirates. Yep. Otherwise, they have played one of the toughest schedules in Major League Baseball so far this season.
Yeah, and it sharpens you. It really does, and they've shown that.
All right, we got a contestant on the line. Let's get to it. It is time for the Tuesday edition of Take on Woods. Take on my Woods, brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you, and we got Nick this morning. Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. All right. You are the contestant. Woods has left the studio. Your part of the game comes first. 5 questions of musical trivia. If you can beat or tie Woods on those 5 questions, you will be the first entrant into our grand prize drawing for a trip to see Bruno Mars in Las Vegas, including 2 tickets to his show at Dolby Live at Park MGM on September 3rd, a 2-night stay at Park MGM, and a $100 gift card. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. And to give you the advantage, I will let you pick the category and keep Woods in the dark. Here are your choices. We still have duets, old and new-ish. Those are an all 2-second song category of duets. Getting in shape, 5 song titles and artists that include some sort of geometric shape. And all aboard. This is a category. Well, I'll let you figure it out, but the category should put you in the right frame of mind. All right, duets, old and newish, getting in shape, or all aboard. Nick?
I'll get in shape.
All right, getting in shape. Today's category, Nick, features 5 song titles and artists that all include some sort of shape in their name. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We will come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question's the 2-second song. Paulie's queuing it up now. You need to give me that song title and the artist to score the point. And remember, they all have a different shape in their name. Nick, are you ready to play?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. The category, getting in shape. Good luck, Nick. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
Which Rock and Roll Hall of Famer has 38 career top 10 hits, including 1969 Sweet Caroline?
Pass.
Which 1986 hit by Huey Lewis and the News became something of an anthem for people who were less than cool?
Hip to be square?
Correct. Which rapper was born O'Shea Jackson on June 15th, 1969, which was a good day? Correct. Tim Rice and Elton John wrote 5 songs for the Disney movie The Lion King, including which track that served as the film's opening song?
Pass.
Go back to our 2-second song, Nick.
I have no idea on that guy.
Which Rock and Roll Hall of Famer has 38 career top 10 hits?
Neil Diamond.
Correct. Let's go to Tim Rice and Elton John wrote 5 songs for the Disney movie The Lion King, including which track that serves as the film's opening song? Time's running out. Come on.
Can you see the love tonight?
Not a bad guess, but Circle of Life. We got the shape category for you. You got Ice Cube, though, O'Shea Jackson. Hip to be square, and you got Neil Diamond, so that's 3. The 2-second song, that was Bizarre Love Triangle by New Order. I don't know. This could be, I think Woods wins, but hang on the line, Nick. We'll see.
Let's see.
Don't know if he's going to be able to figure out this category. I think he'll know some of the answers, but we'll find out as Woods takes his spot. Nick's score is locked in. 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Nick.
New Order. I'll come back to it.
Which Rock and Roll Hall of Famer has 38 career top 10 hits, including 1969 Sweet Caroline?
Neil Diamond.
Correct. Which 1986 hit by Huey Lewis and the News became something of an anthem for people who were less than cool?
Hip to be square.
Correct. Which rapper was born O'Shea Jackson on June 15th?
Ice Cube.
Correct. Tim Rice and Elton John wrote 5 songs for the Disney movie The Lion King, including which track that served as the film's...
Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Incorrect. Go back to our
Word.
2-second song.
That's is it Bizarre Love Triangle?
It is by New Order, which
New
you got
Order, yeah.
earlier, which gives you the 4-3 victory. You needed that one. In the category, Nick, I'm sorry. Getting in shape.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Bizarre Love Triangle, Neil Diamond, Hip to be Square, Ice Cube, and Circle of Life.
Circle of Life.
Which without the category, that was a little... He also said, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? But
it's not a shape.
It's not a shape.
No, not a shape at all.
Not a shape. Well played.
Thank
Still
you.
no qualifiers for Bruno Mars in Vegas yet, but we will try again tomorrow.
Good deal.
All right.
That's good.
Let's take a timeout. Do you want to open the phone lines?
Sure.
Padres fans after
Sure.
that game last night. We don't usually do that, but I felt like maybe after last night, this team's kind of special right now.
Yeah.
But we want to hear from you. You're
Fine with
watching.
me.
I know there were some Padres fans in New York. If you were at the game and you are watching on our YouTube stream or joining us on the app, please give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Padres have won 6 in a row. They are rolling right now, and we are rolling on with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
You can also get on a roll at 7 Mile Casino. You know what? You're playing California-style blackjack. Nothing like one of those. You win, you blackjack, you double down, you win another one, and all of a sudden you got a big pile of chips in front of you. I love that feeling.
Feels real good, man.
Yeah.
Feels real good. You got Texas Hold'em as well. They got Pai Gow, Baccarat. They don't have slot machines. All right. So if you like slot machines, and I don't, so I'm actually really, really happy they don't have slot machines there. I don't have to hear them constantly ringing in my ears. Nobody's smoking Pall Malls next to me. It's a smoke-free environment. It's got everything I'm looking for at 7 Mile Casino.
They even have a restaurant inside. At Sammy's Wood-Fired Pizza. Come to the South Bay inside 7 Mile Casino. And not only do you get the great Sammy's menu, but got the 24/7 players menu any time of day, 2 a.m., whatever.
Yeah.
Great items like the Kung Pao chicken, which is legendary, plus the award-winning Best in South County brunch on Saturdays and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Check it out for yourself, my friends. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Got some Padres tickets to give away, but we'll have to do that in our 9 o'clock hour because the phone lines currently are fairly busy. If you'd like to join us, 833-288-0973. Again, we don't typically just go for the open phones, but last night was certainly a memorable night for this 2025 Padres season, coming from behind at Yankee Stadium. Mike Shildt got ejected in his first ever game managing at Yankee Stadium.
That's how you do it right there.
I mean, that is jumping in.
Never going to forget that.
Head first to your managerial career at Yankee Stadium. The only big league ballpark I think he told us he had not managed in yet.
Want to know?
And want to know, but didn't get to see the end of it.
Yeah.
Other than on the television from his office in the visiting clubhouse.
I love somebody asked him, were you back in your office in time to see Manny's double? And he goes, I was actually back here to see Arise get walked.
So good.
He went right to the office.
Right to the office.
Said his glasses were waiting for him on his desk, too.
Did he and Fernando watch it together, I wonder?
Ooh.
Sitting there watching the game together, cheering.
Was Fernando in the players kind of area and Mike was in the office? Or did they sit there together? I can picture them sitting.
Crack a beer.
100%. Yeah. It's no doubt.
Nice. Well, we'll have to get that answer from him next time we talk to Shildt. Let's get to some of these phone calls, though. 833-288-0973. Andy is calling us this morning, leading things off. Good morning, Andy. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, bud.
So, quick question. Obviously, yesterday, one thing that we saw at the beginning of the game with the Luis Camposano running home, which we all kind of questioned the decision, but then we saw Sheets kind of waving him in. When it comes to Friday and Cronenworth is added to this team, right? Tomorrow, obviously today, Merrill's added. So you would assume that Oscar Gonzalez is getting sent down.
Yeah.
Is the idea that Campy is then sent down Friday with now we're limited to the right-handed bats because we started the year with Yuli Gurriel, and obviously he's not here anymore. So Tyler Wade's taking that spot. I'm kind of just curious of what we think the roster is going to look like when we go to Colorado on Friday.
That's an really interesting point that you bring up. One that I had not really thought about yet. You kind of realize today you need Luis Camposano as a right-handed bat, right? To hit against lefties. You got Gavin Sheets to hit against righties, unless you say, Gavin Sheets is our DH moving forward now.
I think the splits are too big right now to count on Gavin Sheets against lefties.
Is the sample size big enough, at this point? I have no idea. It's a great question. It really is. I do think Oscar's probably packing his bags as we speak. Jackson will be, I think you keep Hayward. I do. I think you keep Hayward. I think he's too valuable defensively. I do. And, leadership, whatever.
I think Lockridge is certainly potentially,
he's been
at the end of the week, at least expendable.
Over Campy.
I do
think
take
Campy over Lockridge.
Yeah, that's where I think Campy might be.
I don't know that I do.
think once you have,
I don't know that you need Sheets and Camposano. DH only's off your bench. I think you need a little bit more versatility.
I don't think you absolutely need Camposano. If he deserves to stay, then absolutely, he can stay. He's drawn some walks. But you can always
is that the bar right now?
Bar
against lefties, you can put Jose Iglesias into the lineup, and you can give Manny a DH day, give Xander a DH day. You can figure it out.
I think you keep Lockridge. I do.
Yeah, and you can put him in Speedy at the end of the lineup. And you've got Tyler Wade now to back you up at multiple positions.
Yep.
So I don't think you absolutely have to keep Luis Camposano on the roster. I'm open to it though. I would love to see Campy jump in as their kind of right-handed solid guy for DHing when they needed him. He'll have to show that he can do it beyond the AAA level. He was mashing at AAA, hasn't really locked in yet, other than taking some walks here at the big league level.
No question. No, great question though. By the way, great question.
All right, let's go to Ryan. Ryan, you're next up with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey boys, how's it going?
Good, Ryan.
Good, man.
So I got to apologize to Xander. I don't know about you guys, but I've been calling him a bum for about 18 months. He's really turned it around the past couple games. I'd like to see a little bit more of that action.
Oh, yeah.
Get a little return on our investment there. But last night, you just knew that Trent Grisham was going to hit that bomb, didn't you?
100%.
And you're like, man, he's just adding to the list of former Padres that constantly rake off of us. But what a great victory. I was watching it with my girls at the house. And they're going, let's go Padres on every pitch. And was glad to hear the guttural yell this morning, I got to say.
Yeah, buddy. I was glad to give it. Always glad to give it. No, I'm with you, man. The Xander, again, he's been a confounding guy, and he's feeling good right now. So you ride those waves of momentum. He will struggle again. It's the nature of baseball, certainly. I think, it is important to remember he does have it in him, to be a very productive player. And it's not as simple as, putting your mind to it or anything like that. It's just getting good pitches to hit and doing damage when you get them. And he's done that. And he's been opportunistic lately.
I'm holding my Xander Bogaerts tickets at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm not cashing them. I'm not going to go on some victory lap. Like I told you, Xander was going to turn it around. He's had a few good games. I am encouraged, not just by what I've seen on the field, but what Xander has said. He's got in his mind, going back and doing something he was maybe doing earlier in his career. Every day you kind of hear him talk about, I feel a little more locked in. I feel better about this swing, and now I'm seeing some results with it. Hopefully it means that Xander is going to maybe go on a prolonged stretch of being somewhat hot. Again, we still haven't seen much power. He has the one home run. It was like a 350-foot line drive. You're not gonna put up 30 home run power with those kind of shots.
Nobody's expecting him to put up 30.
He did it in Boston
once, one time.
I'm not expecting it here.
Brady Anderson is 51. So I mean, look, the sun shines on a dog's ass someday.
So,
you know what I mean? But
again, I'm going to reserve any.
We're talking 15 home runs is kind of what we're shooting for here.
I'm going to reserve any hot Xander Bogaerts takes for good or bad at this point, and just hope that Xander continues to make his steady improvements with the swing and feels more comfortable at the plate.
Yeah, absolutely. I just keep doing what you're doing. And again, we've talked a million times. If you're not helping the team with the bat, help the team with the glove. There was that little period where he was doing harm both ways. He wasn't helping with the bat and actually costing you games with his glove and his arm.
When it gets magnified so much when you're losing.
Of course. And it's magnified when you're losing. And it's magnified if your defense slips and you're not hitting, you're a pariah. That's how you become a pariah when you're costing your team's games. And man, he is helping the team defensively and offensively right now. And that's exactly what you dream of for a guy that makes a lot of money, takes up a good chunk of your payroll.
All right, 833-288-0973. We got more callers on the line. We'll get to you right after a quick check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a couple collisions here, one involving a couple vehicles north on 5 just past Old Town to the center divide, and collision on Mesa College right at that North 805 exit. Car and motorcycle involved. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, what a game last night. Let's keep going with these phone calls. Padres fans, your takes have been good so far. We got Tim calling from Oceanside. Good morning, Tim.
Timmy.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you guys been?
Doing well, man. How about you?
Doing well. So let me just give you how I felt when Shildt got tossed. As I coached more than 3 decades, and I said to myself, the Padres just won.
Yeah.
The Padres have a perfect aura right now of where everybody believes in each other, everybody supports each other, and everybody's pulling the rope the same way. I knew it was over. I guarantee you Tatis and Shildt watched that game together.
Yeah.
I've had similar situations, you know, I was coaching at Oceanside High, and I'm up yelling at the official in a Palm Springs tournament one year, and Pulu Pamelli and Saleh Assay are sitting behind me, and I hear Pulu tell Saleh, check out Coach Tim. He wants to play as bad as we do. When your players believe in you the way you believe in them, and you give them the rope to make it work, that encourage them that they're only going to be as good as they choose to be, and that right now the Padres have the perfect aura from top to bottom.
I think, Tim, the Padres do have a great aura, as you call it. And I love your sentiment. I really do. And I know that they really wanted to win that one, especially after Shildt got them fired up. The one thing in baseball you can't control, Manny got a pitch that he could handle, and he lined it down to the left field. What happens if that pitcher comes and gives him something nasty, breaking 6 inches on the corner? Manny's going to want it either way. With the bases loaded, he's up there doing his thing. It's the one part of baseball that no matter how much you want it, you can't force it to happen. As the batter, you got to play your game at the plate. You got to find your pitch. You got to make your swing. And no matter how much you want it to happen, sometimes the more you want it to happen, the harder baseball gets. So that's the only reason why I could never tell you, oh, yeah, Shildt won that game for the Padres right there. Manny and Xander had to win that game by putting the right swings on the right pitches against Luke Weaver in that situation. I don't want to take anything away from those guys and what they executed in that situation.
Yeah, because, look, if it worked every time, you'd see a lot more managers getting run in close games. You really would. And I do believe in it. I talk, you talk about picking your spots. Certainly, Shildt picked a good one last night, and the guys responded. And, like Manny said after the game, he was interviewed by John Morosi, and, John said, now you're batting .352 with the bases loaded in your 14-year career. What is it about hitting with? And he said, look, I like hitting with runners on base. And the thing I like the most, they have to come to you. They have to come to you. If you can spit on those secondary pitches, he got a fastball he could handle, and he absolutely hammered it. He had a 0.0 ERA. First runs he's given up all season. I mean, it felt like it was in the cards after that ejection.
I think one of the toughest things probably about being a star player in baseball, whether you're an Aaron Judge or a Manny Machado, not knowing if you're going to see a pitch to hit. You may go up there and you may have nobody on base. Doesn't mean they're going to throw one to you. Pitchers are going to be careful with the stars. So you have to balance that knowing, hey, I need to hit, I need to get my knocks, I need to, get to my 30 homers, whatever it is. But you can't force it, because a pitcher that doesn't want to be beaten by you is only going to give you his pitches, and he will accept a walk sometimes. It's not the worst result to walk Aaron Judge, not the worst result to walk Manny Machado sometimes. Bro. Now, not with the bases loaded, but you do have to go up there. Now, if you're Brandon Lockridge, you're going to see strikes, because they don't think that you're going to be able to hurt them with one swing. So you go up there looking for strikes. Manny has to be more selective and more understanding of the situation and what he's facing.
It's what makes guys like Barry Bonds. You can think whatever you want of Barry Bonds. It's what makes guys like Barry Bonds so special. Tony Gwynn, guys that it got to the point in Tony's career where pitchers just said, screw it, I'm throwing him a fastball. I'll take my chances that he's going to hit one out of the yard, but we know he's probably going to hit a single. I'll take that single from Tony Gwynn. I'll let the next guy beat me. Here's a fastball, hit it. And Tony was like gifted hits. I think you still got to hit the ball and put it in the right spot. But at that point in Tony's career, the best pitchers in the game said, here's a fastball, hit it, take your base. I don't care. Like, I don't want more damage to happen. And it's what makes guys like Juan Soto. I mean, I watched the game with him in the 9th inning last week. He did not get one pitch to hit, not one, because they don't want to let Juan Soto beat him. And so it is harder for those guys. It's much easier to be a Tyler Wade. It's much easier to be a Brandon Lockridge. Also, people look at it and they don't go, Bro, you're making $25 million a year. You got to come through every single time. I'm making the league minimum here, buddy. Like, I'm doing my best. The pressure is really off for those guys. The pressure is squarely on the backs of the Barry Bonds, the Juan Soto,
Tyler
the Manny
Ray can
Machado.
really only do good.
That's it.
Can't do anything really that bad,
Right.
because we're just gonna. Well, he's Tyler
Tyler
Wade.
Wade.
Whatever.
Like,
You know, he struck out a couple of times. I'm sure he's. Don't even remember. I'm sure he struck out yes, he did strike out a couple of times last night. Guess how many times we talk about those? But when Fernando strikes out in a big spot, Manny, when Xander does it, we of course are going to go, man, paying them all that money and they strike out. But they strike out just like everybody does, unless you're Luis Ariz, who
you just never strike out.
I don't know that I've ever had a feeling when my player has come to the plate and there's 2 strikes that I haven't been worried about him. I know he's not going to strike out.
Yeah, he may not barrel this.
Yeah.
He's probably, odds are he probably won't, but
you're not going to strike him out, even with 2 strikes. Has he still only struck out 2 times all season
Something
versus
like that.
3 home runs?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Got time for a couple more calls. Let's go to Rod. You are next up with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Hi, Rod.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Yo, yo, yo. Shout out to the chat fam, all the tier ones on the YouTube.
Yeah, buddy.
I love you guys, all of you.
Love
but
you, man.
Let's not overlook Woods, Paulie, and Ben. Our pitching, our bullpen. When Ryan Berger got on base, when he came up to the mound, he got into a little jam. The pitching whisperer, Ruben Niebla, came in, whispered in his sweet ear, and I think he told him, hey, pitch, keep the ball low. Let's keep it low. Let's get out of this inning. And next thing you know, Trent Grisham flies out to Brandon Lockridge out there in the outfield. And man, just props again to the pitching whisperer, our coaching staff as an entire group. Just love this team. And like I said in the chat earlier, I rewatched the 8th inning, and man, it was better than a cup of coffee.
No
honestly,
doubt.
guys.
No doubt, man.
Love you guys.
Love you, buddy.
Thanks, so-
Appreciate you, Rod. The pitching whisperer, indeed. And that bullpen is playing and pitching with a lot of confidence right now, as they should.
Ruben's a weapon. I mean,
Big time.
he's an advantage the Padres have. Not saying there aren't other good pitching coaches in baseball, but he's definitely one of, if not the best right now in the league. Saw someone in the chat, I think, suggest earlier, we'll take Devin Williams. I think Ruben Niebla probably give him a few minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Straighten him right out in that Padres bullpen if the Yankees have had their fill of a struggling Devin Williams. You know he's got it still in him. He's just off a little bit right now, and the Padres took advantage last night. But Ruben always does seem to find the right thing to say, goes out there at the right moments. And, my son was asking me, it was Jeremiah Estrada. So he'd faced the 3 batters, and then all of a sudden Cody Bellinger was coming up, and Ruben came out to the mound, and he goes, well, why are they doing that? Why don't they switch? They could go maybe to a lefty or something. I think they generally set their relievers up and give them the scouting report on the 3 first guys they're going to face.
Yeah.
And they don't overload them with the rest of the lineup. So once you get to the 4th hitter or a pinch hitter comes up, you will see Ruben come out. Not because the pitcher is necessarily doing anything wrong, but he's got a new scouting report that he just wants to now reinforce or deliver at the right moment, because it's a big situation. It's a runner on, there's a couple outs. Get this out, end the inning. Here's how you get Cody Bellinger out. And, Jeremiah in that situation executed in the game last night.
He was fantastic, man. They all were. Everybody was fantastic last night. Kept the because I thought as soon as we took the lead, I go, hey, man, let's settle down. We still got 6 outs we got to get here against these guys, and they got some of their heavy hitters coming up.
Oh, you don't think the Yankees really wanted to come back and find a way to rally and win that game
and I'll
after
tell you,
everything that happened?
As cool as it was to lose that game, then would have been devastating. It would have been absolutely devastating. I would have been furious. The beautiful comeback notwithstanding, Benny, to be able to win that game, get those last 6 outs was epic. Epic win last night.
Let's go. We got one more top of the board. Our friend Magic. Hello, Magic. How are you?
Hey guys, how you been doing?
Good, man.
Hey guys, I was watching the game last night too, and I gotta ask you guys. It's not often do you see a team coming off of a road trip, going into a very hostile place to play, and raining all day. And from the 2nd inning on, you knew that umpire didn't want to be there.
100%.
Hell, nobody wanted to be there. But, those guys get paid for it. And I get angry when I see umps who don't want to be there. And it's like, dude, you get paid for it. Just play it like everybody else is. And the San Diego Padres found a way to get that win. And I'm going to tell you, that game will be monumental later on in the season, because that's something they can fall back on. I'm not sure I could say that 2 years ago for the Padres team.
You couldn't.
So I like their fortitude. I like the gutness of this team. And I think that game you guys will watch later on in the year, they're going to go back and fall back on this game and say that was a key point of the year.
I agree. They've done that so many times over the last couple of years. The comeback wins, man, were a signature of this team last year. And again, it's the Shildt way. They're not giving up. And again, we need to get it out of our vernacular that this they quit. They don't look like they want to be there tonight. I've never seen it from this team. I never have seen this team. I've seen them look kind of lost offensively. That's not uncommon in baseball. It's just not.
Let me ask you, should that game have been played? I mean,
I don't know.
They started it, and I mean, it looked like it was
nasty.
dumping on Nick
It was.
Pivetta.
He was dude.
It's not a safe situation to have a pitcher who has no way to dry his hands throwing a wet baseball.
Did you see his hat? His hat looked like it weighed 15 pounds, man. The mud, his jersey is so
And
so
I get,
bad.
everyone's
last
paid
inning,
tickets and they want to get it in, but
that last inning when Suarez is out there, he's throwing 100 miles an hour on a ball he can't grip.
It's
it was
amazing.
raining as hard as it had rained all night. I know they're just trying to get those last 3 outs.
Yep.
But it's a one-run game, and I'm like, you can't call another delay right now in the bottom of the ninth. But this is not safe.
Yeah, dude. And like Dub says, it's the hands are bad enough, but it's the plant foot. The plant foot where you come down and all your momentum is on your left leg and you're just
plus with the pitch timer now, maybe in a wet game and you've got a chance to scrape your spikes every pitch and everything, you can get enough dry baseballs, but now you get the pitch timer as well and you're being forced to throw a wet baseball before you're even ready.
Yeah,
I don't know that it was all that safe to play that game.
No,
night.
I crossed my fingers. I'm glad everybody got out of there unscathed.
So I am sitting here staring through the window, an absolute legend of our business,
waiting for us.
I know, and he's going to join us when we come back. Jim Lampley is in town. He's got a new book out. He's going to be signing it at Warwick's in La Jolla tomorrow. It's called It Happened. He has done, obviously, you know him for HBO boxing, but he has done TV sportscasting, ABC, Olympics, sports talk radio, just about everything.
An icon.
And he's going to share some of those stories with us coming up at the top of the hour. Next, with more Bennett Woods on the way on a Tuesday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So you know me, Woods. I obviously grew up a massive sports fan, but it really wasn't the athletes that I was in awe of. It was always the broadcasters. Jerry Coleman, Chick Hearn, some of the legends of the business. And I'm just in awe right now to be staring at one of them who has done just about everything in the sports broadcasting business. He's in town. He's got a new book out. It's called It Happened. Jim Lampley is with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Jim, it is great to have you in studio. Welcome back to San Diego.
Great to be with you guys, Ben and Woods. Yep. Very excited to share with you on this morning show.
So Woodsy's actually a faster reader, but I got a quick digital copy of the book, and I'm trying to scan through some of the pages. And I didn't know some of the details of your amazing career, including, and I think you detailed this in the book. So this business, Sports Talk Radio, which has been around for 4+ decades now, the first big station, WFAN, when they created it, first guy on the air was this guy. So there's no The Fan, there's no the 690, nothing like that exists without you. How did that get started? Tell me a little bit about the origins of Sports Talk Radio.
WFAN in New York. I was at a moment when I was being forced out of ABC Sports. My agent was casting about for things that would keep me engaged, happy, well-fed, etc. A radio entrepreneur from Indianapolis named Jeff Smulyan had bought a license in New York to explore a new idea, 24-hour talk, with regard to sports, 24-hour sports talk. And of course, there were a lot of naysayers. There were all sorts of people who said this will never fly, et cetera, et cetera. And he wanted, excuse me, a name host to bring the thing on the air. So July 2, 1987, 10 a.m. Eastern time, I began the first 4-hour talk segment at WFAN in New York. I wrote a script for that day, and the opening script was this lengthy manifesto about all of the things that would happen as the result of this new crazy turn in sports media. How Bruce from Flushing would make trades for the Rangers, or Vinny from Queens would choose the new quarterback for the Jets, et cetera, et cetera. And eventually, in some way, shape, or fashion, all of the things that I predicted actually did come true.
Well, not only did they come true, they're still going on today. Right. We had our general manager, AJ Preller, on the radio with us a couple of years ago, and he dropped this term that we had T-shirts made, the junior GM, right? So everybody is a junior GM when you listen to Sports Talk Radio.
Great.
And it's so true. And I wear that shirt with pride all of the time because it's absolutely true. And it was prophetic what you said that morning. People want to feel like they're a part of the teams that they root for. And, San Diego's been so lucky. We lost our football team, but we got a baseball team that's been really, really fun to cover and watch. And we see that every morning. People just want to be a part of it.
Right. And I even predicted in that opening manifesto that someday down the road, there would be 3 of these stations in Salt Lake City doing all jazz all the time. Yeah. And by the way, it happened.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So it's great. I mean, I think that Sports Talk Radio has been a tremendous gift to sports fans everywhere. It's something to dig into all day long. And of course, the audiences and followings that guys like you have been able to develop have sustained and nurtured a lot of careers.
So not only was Jim Lampley the first ever host on the first all sports talk radio station, but as I understand it, Jim, you were also the very first ever sideline reporter, when that was not a thing. And how did that come out? That was the ABC days when they were doing college football, and they actually had like a casting call to find someone who was a college-aged sports aficionado broadcaster.
Not just like a casting call, a national casting call.
Okay, so how did that work out?
432 candidates. And the original genesis of the idea was the things that ABC Sports learned about certain engineering elements during their attempt to cover more closely and more effectively the captivity of Israeli athletes at Munich in 1972 reporters, Peter Jennings and Howard Cosell, pushing the control room. How can we get closer to this? How can we hear what's going on in the Olympic Village dorm room, etc.? And through that process, they learned, ABC Sports learned, that radio frequency cameras and microphones would do things that they had not thought they would do, that the signals would go over concrete barriers or around metal walls, etc. So they came back from New York, came back to New York from Munich. There was a meeting among the engineering, sports, and news divisions. Now that we know this, what can we do with it? And the first thing that was adopted was we could put a reporter on the sideline of a football game. And of course, politics being what they were, they knew it wasn't going to be the NFL at first. It was going to be college football, because through the agency that handled the Chevrolet account, Dancer Fitzgerald Sample, ABC Sports effectively owned college football. And so they went around the country. They interviewed 432 college or close to college age people. I was probably the one person among the 432 who least fit all of the advertised qualifications. We're going to choose somebody who's never been a broadcaster. That wasn't me. We're going to choose somebody who's 18 to 22 years old, undergraduate age. I was 25 and a graduate student, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And through a long series of circumstances, I, along with a guy from Stanford named Don Tollefson, we were the first two people chosen for the gig. I was actually the first one to speak on the air. So, you know, that it's commonplace to say that I was the very first sideline reporter ever at a football game.
We're joined live in studio by the great Jim Lampley. He's got a new book out. It's called It Happened, A Uniquely Lucky Life in Sports Television. And I've been doing this 15 years. I often sit privately and think about how lucky I've been and all of the different roads and things that have to click into place to be able to do what I do every single day. It's a wild story, but I love that you acknowledge the luck involved, because you do have to have a beautiful voice. You have to have a really sharp brain, as you do. But the luck involved, tell us why you feel so lucky with what you've gotten to do.
Well, the subtitle is a uniquely lucky life in sports broadcasting. I've had a lot of, or sports television, it says. I've had a lot of friends who have pushed back and said, why do you say lucky? You had skills. You were able to manage situations. You worked well, da-da-da-da-da. And I always say, look, if you are the one person out of a 432 candidate talent hunt, and you're the one who's chosen after a long summer of deliberation, and you are the one who least fits all the qualifications that they're talking about, then you better regard yourself as lucky, or you're insane in some way. And then that's just the beginning. All the things that happened in the 30 years, 40 years, 50 years following that are also governed in a lot of ways by luck and circumstance. And it's just the nature of this business. You go from one lily pad to another lily pad to another lily pad, keep finding your way along the path. Up comes another opportunity from some executive you never met or never heard of, and on you go. And my career has been a fascinating roadmap of that kind of luck, circumstance, coincidence, tangential connection. On we go.
So as you worked with ABC, of course, ABC was a sports behemoth back in the day, including broadcasting the Olympic Games, and you became an integral part of the Olympics coverage. And I think for people today, maybe younger than our generation, they don't remember how big a deal every single Olympics was. I mean, it's still big now, but I mean, back then, it to me felt absolutely huge. What do you remember most? How many Olympics did you cover with ABC, and what were some of those memories and those giant moments for you as a broadcaster?
I went to, I think I went to 5 or 6 Olympics with ABC. I went to 1 Olympics with CBS. I went to 1 Olympics as the overall host for Turner Broadcasting, and then there are another 6 or so which are NBC. So a variety of networks, but because I was at ABC Sports, and ABC had originally a sort of stranglehold franchise on the Olympics, and because I was able to develop a presence and an identity at ABC, which included being in the host studio for Late Night in Sarajevo in 1984, being in the host studio for swimming in Los Angeles in 1984, or excuse me, being at the pool for swimming and in the host studio for Late Night. By the time I left ABC Sports in 1987, I had a great deal of Olympic identity. And at that point, the other networks were finally beginning to bid on the rights in a competitive way. And so ABC's stranglehold on the Olympics ended at about the time I left ABC, and I was available to work at other places, and on it went. So I was very, very fortunate with regard to my timing, the coincidences that coalesced, and my identity with the Olympics to wind up going to 14 of them, which I have been told by other people who count them, I don't, is the most for any American broadcaster. If that's still true, good for me.
Well, you talk about coincidences. I remember it's one of those days I remember when I was a kid. Obviously, the call that you're maybe most famous for, Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas, right? I remember where I was. I remember where I was sitting. I was watching the fight with my dad. Obviously, followed Mike Tyson's career. Was one of those guys you liked him, but you weren't sure. He was very edgy, and you were like, I think I like him. I really like watching this guy fight, but man, is he terrifying. He was that kind of boxer of my youth. Nobody expected what happened that night to happen, and that's the beauty of sports. When something like that happens, you even as a broadcaster couldn't have been, there's probably a charge you get knowing you're about to call a big fight. You couldn't have been that charged up about that particular fight. It was Tyson. It was Buster Douglas. Nobody expected that.
Well, the first fight I had gone to for HBO was Mike Tyson versus Tony Tubbs in Tokyo, not terribly long before the Douglas fight. That was an utterly perfunctory fourth-round knockout. The biggest news surrounding the fight had to do with Mike's romance with the woman who soon became his wife, Robin Givens. And then we went back for the Douglas fight, which was expected to be the same thing.
Yeah.
And as the rounds unfold and the drama began to take place in front of us, by the way, in an arena with 34,000 spectators who were silent, who were making no noise whatsoever, because that's the basic Japanese decorum at that kind of a sports event. Or they were stunned into silence by what they were watching. But the bottom line was, as the rounds go by, it's abundantly clear this is not a perfunctory knockout. We're going deep into the fight here, etc. The very first live prize fight I had ever attended was February 25, 1964 in Miami Beach. Cassius Clay's upset of Sonny Liston, which was seen at that moment. I was a 14-year-old. I had saved lawn mowing and car washing money to buy a ticket. And that was seen at that moment as the biggest upset in the history of boxing.
Sure.
Now I'm sitting ringside for HBO in Tokyo. And as the rounds go by and Douglas is starting to get better and better, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I bought a ticket the first time I ever went to a prize fight to see the biggest upset in boxing history. And now here's the fight which will succeed it as the biggest upset in boxing history.
Do you start going through that thing in your head where you're like, I better come up with something now?
100%.
I didn't really have anything.
Absolutely.
I better come up with something.
100%. In that instance, I was in fact gaming it out and thinking, okay, what am I going to say?
Yes.
And then when it happened, and Tyson's on the canvas and the referee's counting to 10, when the referee got to about 6, I heard a voice in the back of my head. And that voice was a relatively new friend at that point, the greatest actor of my generation, Jack Nicholson. And I had been on a golf course with Nicholson a few weeks before and had asked him, Jack, when you're getting ready to do the fulcrum line of the movie, when you're getting ready to go to the set to do the most important thing, when you're getting ready to say you can't handle the truth, what is it you keep as a mantra in your mind? And he said, Lamp, same thing I've been saying ever since I first went to acting class. Don't overact. So
nice.
As Tyson's lying on the canvas and the referee's counting to 10, I hear, don't overact. And that became Mike Tyson has been knocked out in pretty much that tone of voice. And I was really trying to tone it down, because what could you possibly do to gild this lily?
Right.
No amount of screaming or shouting or some spectacular verbiage was going to elevate it. It was already where it was. So that became Mike Tyson has been knocked out, and I'm proud of it. And
No question.
You say it's my most famous call. I think it runs a pretty close race with the one that is the title of the book. And that also came from boxing as well.
So we're going to take a quick timeout, and Jim Lampley's with us. You talked about leaving ABC and how that turned you essentially into the voice of boxing for a generation. But I think people are going to be very surprised as to how you ended up as the voice of boxing. I was stunned when I read this part of the book. We will continue on with Jim Lampley in studio here with Ben and Woods after a quick timeout and a check of traffic. Don't go anywhere. It's San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, I got to tell you about SDFatLoss.com. I've told you about my weight loss journey, how I lost 40 pounds in 60 days simply by following the doctor-recommended strategies from SDFatLoss.com. I had a counselor, supported me every step of the way. They will do the same for you. You sign up at SDFatLoss.com, get your free consultation. You can lose up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. And it's not just about looking better, although obviously that's a great side benefit. It's about feeling better. My back pain has gone down to almost nothing. I have more energy. I sleep better. My sleep apnea went away as well. Can't promise everything, but I can promise that if you follow the program, you should lose weight and lose it fast, safely. No drugs, no injections, and you don't have to buy any bars or shakes or mixes. It's based on real food, stuff you eat normally at the grocery store, like steak and chicken and vegetables. That's what I ate. I lost the weight and I lost it fast. You can do so as well. Just sign up again by going to SDFatLoss.com, get your free consultation. And right now, take advantage of the spring special in the month of May. Get $200 off the program at SDFatLoss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
We're sitting here listening to more stories from Jim Lampley during our break, talking about Jack Nicholson. And I mean, I can't imagine how many Hollywood celebrities you must have met at some of those giant boxing events. I mean, they were where to be seen. The who's who would show up ringside.
Yeah, but I spent a lot of time with Jack. So does any other Hollywood celebrity now matter? In
Not
the
really.
Really
I mean,
not. It doesn't.
Even for a younger generation. I mean, Jack is
The coolest
Jack
of the
is
cool.
coolest of the cool.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely. But how you got into boxing is we continue our conversation. And again, Jim's in town. He's got his new book, It Happened, A Uniquely Lucky Life in Sports Television. He's going to be signing copies at Warwick's in La Jolla tomorrow night. And I'm sure it's available on all the Amazons and everything that you can
All
order
those
them.
pedestals,
Yes,
yes.
exactly. But how you ended up in boxing, you were leaving ABC. There were some unique opportunities around, but you were the golden child at ABC under legendary executive Roone Arledge.
Correct.
You were ticketed to be the next Jim McKay, the next giant television star.
Well, at least I saw it that way,
Yeah.
and my agent saw it that way, and it certainly appeared that Arledge saw it that way. He was writing things into my contracts that were delivering me toward that. And then, boom, a new owner bought ABC, Capital Cities, a station group. And the previous owner had been an individual entrepreneur. Leonard Goldenson had lunch with Cosell every day at 21 around the corner. But now in comes this stations group that is taking over ABC, and they want to put their own guy in charge of the stations division at ABC. So they need to move the guy who's running stations for ABC at that time. His name was Dennis Swanson. Arledge was running both sports and news. So they make the easy choice. Aha, Rune, you have to offload one of these two divisions. Which one are you going to keep? He keeps news. Dennis Swanson becomes the incoming president of the sports division, and he arrives in 1987 with one basic predilection, which is, who is Jim Lampley? How do I get rid of
him?
How do I get rid of him and his contract? And he says to my agent, in no uncertain terms, I'm going to offload your client, and you're not going to have any choice because of the things I'm going to do to offload him.
Oh my God.
I'm going to do everything possible to make him look bad.
Oh my
so he identifies me as a preppy, well-dressed kid from North Carolina, and there's no way that I'll know anything at all about boxing. And the very first sports event my mother had ever sat me down to watch when I was 6 years old was Sugar Ray Robinson versus Bobo Olson. I watched boxing all the way through my childhood in the 50s into the 60s. I already told you about how I went to Cassius Clay versus Sonny Liston and Miami. Dennis Swanson didn't know any of that. So he decided that he would assign me to boxing. It would embarrass me, and that would have get rid of me. He also didn't realize that the division had just signed a get acquainted, look-see contract with a 19-year-old heavyweight from New York whose name was Mike Tyson. So my first 5 or 6 network television boxing exposures were calling Mike Tyson fights. And lo and behold, every time I'm walking away from ringside thinking, I can't believe this has happened. I can't believe that Swanson thought he could get rid of me by assigning me to this person who is now the biggest thing in the culture, maybe the biggest thing in the global culture at that moment. There was nobody who got more attention than Mike.
What would have been the place he could have put you that would have embarrassed you?
Baseball.
Oh,
and I had done some baseball. I did some baseball in the 2 or 3 years before that. And I did baseball with two of the greatest people in the world, Bill White and Bob Uecker.
Oh, yeah.
And they were wonderful to work with. And, I would say 7th inning, runner on second, 1 out, and Uecker or White would jump in and say, hit and run, because, they kept me from ever falling off the end of the diving board for a couple of seasons.
That's amazing.
And it was precarious. And
so had he assigned you to baseball,
if he had assigned me to baseball, he would have ruined me. All right. I would have been killed because I simply didn't know enough baseball to be a baseball play-by-play guy. I mean, when you listen to the great ones, when you listen to Scully or Al Michaels or Costas, they think the game pitch by pitch by pitch the same way the managers do. I didn't have any of that. So, he could easily have killed me by putting me back on baseball.
That's incredible.
Boxing? No, that was a bad idea.
Bad idea.
And of course, this ends up leading to HBO, which was kind of experimental in the day. Sports on, cable, pay for cable. Would that be successful? Would people actually buy it and tune in on HBO? And of course,
and they
we learned
chose boxing because it is not a continuing season-long story. Every event is its own snowflake, and that makes it like movies, like other things that you are willing to pay for. That was the whole key to programming at HBO. What kind of programming will people be willing to pay for? They'll pay for movies. They'll pay for unique and brilliantly conceived dramas. They'll pay for boxing matches, each of which is its own internally enclosed drama.
Yeah,
so
it's not a big, long season.
That was the perfect sport for HBO.
Amazing.
And that's what got me to the world's most prestigious cable network.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy story.
It is
unbelievable,
but it happened.
It happened.
That's
it happened. Exactly.
And just your thoughts on what boxing is today. I mean, as you watch it, obviously, still it's not obviously the heyday of the sport, but there's still some compelling stories, obviously, in the world of boxing. How much do you still kind of keep tabs? And I know there was some recent coming back to it as well with HBO.
Well, I did the blow-by-blow commentary Friday night at the widely anticipated lineup of boxing matches in Times Square, outdoors in New York City. Bizarre exercise in civic cooperation with a Saudi entrepreneur who is seeking to build boxing back to its 1920s prominence when it was the number one spectator sport in America. And after a hiatus, after the demise of HBO, boom, there's Lampley back at ringside doing boxing again. And on we go. The Sheikh, Turkey al-Sheikh, is utterly determined to totally renovate and elevate his boxing franchise. He is determined to make the best fights possible in the sport. He's got more money than fill in the blank. It seemed to have a good enough relationship with him and the people around him that I can expect to be calling more fights.
Jim, that was an amazing 30 minutes. Thank you so much
much
for coming in studio. I'm actually going to go next door and do a little bit for television with Jim as well, but we're going to take a quick time out. We'll come back. Paulie's got some round of report headlines.
That was 30 minutes, my friend.
You guys are amazing. You're very entertaining.
Thank you, Jim. Before we go, though, we do have some Padres tickets to give away. Fifth caller right now, 833-288-0973. Tickets to the game, Padres Angels, next Wednesday, May 14th. First 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a free reversible retro bucket hat. Get your tickets now at padres.com/tickets or win them now. 833-288-0973. We'll be back next here on 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, while Benny steps away, wanted to give you a quick update. Make sure you go get the Underdog app today. You can play across all sports, boxing included, but the NBA playoffs right now, getting a lot of action, certainly. And you guys know how daily fantasy works. You just choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. You can choose from things like points, assists, rebounds, so much more. Underdog, one of the best places to make picks during the basketball playoffs. Once you get your picks locked in, play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So download the Underdog app, sign up with promo code WOODS to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. When you make your first deposit, promo code is WOODS. Must be 18 and over, 19 and over in Alabama, Nebraska, 19 and over in Colorado for some games, 21 over in Massachusetts and Arizona. Present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Welcome back, Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Jim Lampley was fantastic. Thank you
awesome.
for him for coming in. It happened in a uniquely lucky life in sports television. Wrote that book, forward by Taylor Sheridan, which is really interesting to me as well, and all the quotes in it from Bob Costas and guys of that nature, praising the book. So he brought me a copy. I will definitely read. I mean, I opened up to chapter 18, Mike Tyson and me. Cannot wait to dive into this. I'm going to save it for my long flight, maybe to Philly.
There you go.
Then I got another long flight to England in
How long
July.
does it take you to read a book?
Me?
Like, how many pages are we looking at here?
This is you're looking, Paulie, at this bad boy being
like about 200,
about 250.
250.
Yeah, I can get that done in probably a weekend. Yeah, no problem. I mean, I don't have the time I once had to sit and read books, but I try to take my moments. Most of the books I read, this won't surprise you, are rock biographies. I'm not reading much literature anymore, though I do still occasionally crack open some of my old favorites. But yeah, man, I really love to read, and I don't get enough time to do it. I read a lot on the plane this weekend. That's where I get a lot of my reading done when I travel. We are waiting for Ben. He is in the next room doing another interview with Jim Lampley for his other job.
And said, F you guys.
Yeah. F you. Yeah. So
Channel 10 does take priority.
Channel 10 got a little priority over Ben and Woods, but he doesn't really like the Reindl Report anyway, and I do.
It's true.
So let's
just get to it.
Let's just get to it without him.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Couple of problems wrapping up our morning drive. Crash the clearing stage northbound side of the 805 before Imperial. Everything's over to the right shoulder. And got this collision on the coastline, southbound 5 at the Encinitas Boulevard off-ramp. Couple vehicles involved. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right, indeed. I was just getting dragged by your wife, Paulie.
Oh, you were?
On Instagram. So when
It's unlike her.
I know, right? When Brett Boone got that gig yesterday, I thought to myself, well, he's a regular Ben and Woods guest. I'm going to go to Instagram. I'm going to post a congratulations from Ben and Woods. So I did. Just congrats, Booney.
Yeah.
And she wrote back in the thing. She goes, babe, can we talk about this font choice? And I go, well, it's the wrong babe. It's Woodsy. She goes, oh, just kidding. Go team. And I sat there, I go, well, you know what? Paulie's got so much on his plate.
You went with like the Comic Sans.
Yeah, I just the first one that popped up. That's just what I did. I said, congrats, Booty. I don't know.
I think that's just your default font
I don't
on
think
your
so.
settings on your phone for your Instagram. Because if I go to Ben and Wood's Instagram on my phone, I think it's a different font. So now you know if we post anything to our story, you can check the font and know who posted.
Well, you know who it's not? Him. It's Ben, who's in the next room doing an interview for his other gig.
He would never.
I want to assign him Instagram duties for a week. Just the responses. I mean, we get
answer our DMs.
Answer our DMs. Do you think he would be able to do it?
I self-admittedly, I'm bad at the DMs on
But
Instagram.
you have so much other stuff that you do for the show.
Well, what I do is I'll post something to our feed or our story or
And then
whatever,
you forget
and then
it.
I go back to my account.
Yeah, then you go back to yours.
But yeah, we can.
I want to
some sort
see.
of a punishment for Ben.
I want to see if he could do it for a day. One day, go through Instagram.
He would be exhausted.
There's no way he could do it.
I don't think so.
All right, take us away.
All right, we'll start here in Major League Baseball. I was reading on ESPN. Jeff Passan this morning put out a story predicting the next mega contracts, the next wave of huge contract extensions in Major League Baseball. And there were some interesting numbers that he's throwing out there. So he separated it by tiers of guys that will make at least 100 million, 200 million, 300, 400, 500, and a $600 million player, all in the next year or two.
Okay.
So the class of 25 and 26 free agency, like Pete Alonso, he's going to get at least $100 million.
Oh,
is
yeah.
what Passan predicts. 2 Padres in this tier. Dylan Cease. Now, I don't know that we expect the Padres to give him. Thank you, Jim. Jim Lampley, everybody. I don't think Dylan Cease, we're expecting him to sign a major contract extension with the Padres.
No, not
but he's in that
surprised.
tier. Michael King also in that same tier of at least $100 million.
Interesting.
Other names, Zach Gallen, Framber Valdez. This is a long piece, and we're just kind of blowing through it here. The next wave is the guys that are going to make at least $200 million. By the way, Mackenzie Gore is in that $100 million tier.
Man, okay,
Yeah.
I believe it, dude. He's I think he's leading the league in strikeouts.
There's a lot of
right now.
Padres connections. CJ Abrams also in that $100 million extension range. Benny, we're talking about Jeff Passan's latest on ESPN. Then you scroll down to the $200 million contract extension predictions. It's guys like O'Neal Cruz, Riley Green, Roki Sasaki, Spencer Strider, Logan Gilbert, and Christian Campbell of the Red Sox. James Wood of the Nationals. He is leading off in your $300 million contract extension predictions from Jeff Passan, along with Wyatt Langford of the Rangers and Jackson Chourio, who just signed a couple years ago that smaller deal. He's about ready for another payday.
Jeez,
Passan
dude.
predicts at least $300 million.
Wow, in the next year or two.
Where should Jackson Merrill have fallen on
look
this
who's back.
list? Hi.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
nice to
Ben.
see you.
How are
Did we
Good to
talk
see
about
you.
that yet?
No, we did not.
Jackson Merrill would have been probably in the 3, 4, 500 million range on this list.
Probably the 300
Three.
with
Yeah.
James Wood, Jackson Chourio is my guess. 2 players in the $400 million tier. 2 pitchers. Any guesses?
Pitchers, Skubal?
Correct.
And Skeens. I love Paul Skeens. Skubal and Skeens.
Passan has them looking at about $400 million on their next deal. And again, this is just all speculative. It's just a little fodder this morning. There is a $500 million category, and it's got 2 players, Kyle Tucker of the Cubs and Ellie De La Cruz of the Reds.
Those beloved Ellie De La Cruz.
And Passan's not predicting that they'll sign with their same teams, just what their contracts could and should look like.
Crazy, man.
There is one $600 million player in his $600 million tier. Any guesses on who hasn't been named yet and who doesn't already have their bag?
Let's see. I wasn't here for the beginning. Did they mention Roki?
He was in the $200 million.
Okay, all right.
Roki ain't getting. Yeah,
I mean, it's only been
$600 million.
couple weeks.
It's Gunnar Henderson.
Oh,
$600
really?
million. She said Henderson was the one player mentioned by every executive as the best bet to beat Juan Soto's contract.
Wow, really?
Interesting.
Yeah, thought that was fascinating.
Bobby Witt got an extension. Off to a bit of a slow start. Yeah, man. I don't know that. I mean, I'm gonna look. It's Jeff Passan. I'm not gonna sit and argue with Jeff Passan. If he thinks Gunnar Henderson's gonna get $600 million, he probably will. He knows a lot more than I do. I will defer to the expert.
Get him back on the show. Call him an idiot.
Yeah, call him a moron. That surprises me though. That really, really does surprise me.
Yeah, I was going through that. I was like, okay.
Leo Dallas DeVries is going to be on this list soon.
Yes.
Yeah. James Wood at $300 million, along with CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Gore.
Man,
that's going to go down as one of the biggest trades in MLB history.
It will, and
if those guys continue the way they're going.
The funny thing is, man, is I feel nothing but joy and elation for both of those guys when I see them doing well. I really do. When I see James Wood hit a tank, I don't have that. I'm happy for that kid, man. From all accounts, great dude.
No, it's low-hanging fruit, by the way.
It is, and they did not want to include him.
They really
insisted.
didn't want to include Jackson Merrill.
Correct.
And they had to include someone, and they kept the right person.
I think so. I think a perfect fit for this team.
Yeah, it's low-hanging fruit to point out every time one of those guys does well.
Yep.
And, we got screwed, or that was the worst trade ever.
I know.
Or you got Juan Soto for 2 years.
For 2 years,
I mean,
man. Yep.
that guy's going to also be in the Hall of Fame, along with some of those other names. We did not get to this story yet in the NFL, but the Baltimore Ravens made a, quote, tough decision and released their kicker, Justin Tucker.
Quote, tough decision.
Justin Tucker, of course, we have chronicled his offseason during Don't Do This several times, facing a lot of allegations of misconduct, sexual misconduct
16.
at massage parlors. Yeah, 16 different accounts. The Ravens put out a statement from Vice President and GM Eric DeCosta. Sometimes football decisions are incredibly difficult, and this is one of those instances. Considering our current roster, we have made the tough decision to release Justin Tucker. They go on to talk about all the significant and unforgettable moments he's had in Ravens history. And I guess it just comes down to, look, if nothing happened ever and none of this was ever in the news, do they release him still?
I don't know. The kid that they drafted, which they wouldn't have drafted if they didn't need a kicker.
That's a good point.
Yes.
The kid that they drafted is incredible. There was a video of him bombing 70-yarders like it was nobody's problem. But again, you don't draft him if you got Justin
Tucker was also coming off the worst season of his career, and none of his contract was guguaranteed.
Correct.
So it's a free way to save some money
and it's
under the salary cap.
And it's a giant PR curveball that you get to avoid now. I mean, it's just the perfect storm for the Ravens. And they're like, oh, again, we'll call it a football decision
Right.
and move on.
Okay, guys. And then finally, we've talked about stories similar to this in the past. Just be careful when you, if you have your phone, tablet, computer open. Children are very smart. They're very smart. They're able to figure out the internet very easily.
Like, it would blow your mind.
Yeah.
It would blow your mind to watch my 7-year-old navigate his iPad.
I mean, children, it wasn't just children. Like, animals are smart. I was playing golf the other day.
Yeah.
And as soon as you leave your bag, squirrel, knows you're gone.
Yeah.
Climbs in
Eats your
looking for
sandwich.
food. I'm going, get out of there.
Yeah.
And then they're smart.
Yeah.
They're smart. They can figure things out.
Be careful, especially if you have your credit card on your account, like for, I don't know, Amazon maybe. Very easy to just one click and have something delivered to your house. And there is a woman in Kentucky. Her name is Holly. She says her 7-year-old, he's a second grade kid, went on Amazon and bought 30 cases of Dum-Dums, the suckers. Now, that doesn't sound that
How much
bad.
is in a case?
Glad you asked, Ben. Each case has 2,340 suckers.
My God. All right, hang on.
This woman got over 70,000 Dum-Dums
70,000
delivered to her house. And by the way, the price tag on that, just about $4,000. I'm putting up a picture in our YouTube stream of the delivery at their house. It's unbelievable.
Oh my God. It's like
this 7-year-old goes, I am in the mood for some Dum-Dums.
Yeah.
How much? 30 cases sounds great.
He buys in bulk, and I like that about him.
I mean, you're getting a great discount for buying in bulk. The question is, are you going to be able to get through
70,000 Dum-Dums?
70,000 Dum-Dums.
No, you won't. Man, that is that's and you know, what do? Hey, the people at Dum-Dums are like, oh my God, yes, we haven't made this much money in one.
I didn't even know anyone still ate Dum-Dums.
Is there any update? Like, she's obviously sending it back, getting her money back.
Can you? It's food. You can't just return it.
It's a sucker, though.
It says she contacted Amazon
It's not milk.
immediately. Right.
Like, I'm not taking that milk back. It's rotten.
It says she called Amazon immediately. They were pretty chill. They said, she says a rep told her that if she could just refuse the delivery and they would refund her money. Then the driver came. They didn't knock. They just stacked all of these. Like, you don't always have to have a signature or anything, especially with Amazon. Once they were delivered, Amazon says, sorry, no takebacks.
No.
Because they were delivered.
Now they got to lug.
I don't know if it has to do with
UPS store.
It might have something to do with the fact that they're technically a food item,
Right.
so they're not going to take it back. She told the story on social media. Other people started chiming in and helping out and buying boxes
that's
and
nice.
cases from her to just
Yeah.
help her out a little bit. She says she has managed to sell all of them, all 30 cases.
That's pretty fast.
So it worked out really,
She actually
really
made
well.
$7,000 on it. Yeah, kid, do that again.
Dumb Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, for real. Holy smoke. Your kids ever you ever get that charge on your phone? You know, because they're older now, but you ever get that charge on your phone years ago? You're like, did you guys order
I know that occasionally there's some online setup, like when they were younger, setting up their
Games
gaming
and
accounts
stuff?
and stuff, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden there's like a $5.99 charge or something. Like
$5.99 is one you think you can sneak by the
Right.
old man,
Yeah.
you know, but not you.
not me,
not you.
not me. I'm checking. I'm absolutely checking.
So Amazon would not take the Dum Dums back, but they reached out to her third time. They wanted to try to refund her money because they might have been taking some heat. Like, really, guys, you're going to charge this woman $4,000. She was working with her bank. Also, they were disputing the charge. And so since she ended up selling all of these, she did get her money back from the bank or from Amazon. She's donating all of the money
That's
that
nice.
people. It ended up being a really
And
good
by
story.
the way, Dum Dums has now cashed in with some free advertising on this story, probably worth well more than whatever the cost of the Dum Dums was.
Man, yeah. Oh, Adam says back in the day it was the 900 numbers. Got me. A couple
He said for
times.
Santa Claus.
Oh,
Is that who you were calling?
mine was for Girls Gone Wild. They'll start showing up in the old mailbox. Get home about 3 a.m. Those commercials are like, all right,
Give it a try.
give it a
you
whirl.
You weren't immediately terrified by the disclaimer. It's like $4.99 a minute or whatever it was.
No, this was for the DVDs.
Oh, okay.
Not the
Yeah.
love
I don't
line.
think it was
You
probably
didn't-
it was
you
an
didn't help
800
those
number.
numbers.
No, it was an
Okay.
800 number,
Okay.
but you get the DVDs set.
I would have been beyond terrified to call a
I-
900 number.
I remember my mom caught me in high school buying cigarettes on her credit card, and it was like the end of 16. She gave me a credit card to go to the store.
Was that still back in the day when they put the credit card on the carbon paper and have
no,
to,
I think they swiped it, but
have to
man,
make a copy every single time? I remember like going to the gas station with my parents or grandparents. They'd have to come out and bring that plastic thing and have the whole carbon copy.
Yeah.
So I don't know whatever happened to it after that. They'd mail it in.
they
or-
send it. Yeah, they mail it in. I think.
how,
But
how that ever worked for credits, I have no
incredible.
idea.
God, those days were terrible, man. Terrible.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store and everything for your business. Right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends June 14th, plus saving even more with the Easy Rewards program
You got it.
at Staples. We're done. We're out of time. For Paulie Reindl, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Braden's next. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning here on The Fan.